7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. How was your week? How has it been? Mine has been quite hectic. It's been quite hectic. I'm so glad it's a Friday. And my friend, the fact that you're still here, you're chilling with me right now and you're breathing is proof that you have survived the week. So let's start with the 702 open line, shall we? What are you grateful for this week? We do this every single Friday. We call this Gratitude Friday. This is where you can you take the opportunity to show and express gratitude, because it's important for us to express gratitude. We have to cultivate the spirit of gratitude. There's a whole lot of things that are not going right in our lives, and we need to learn to appreciate, whether it's the small wins or the big things. We have to be able to appreciate them. So, what is it that you are grateful for this week? What happened this week that put a smile on your face and reminded you how blessed you are? 011-883-0702. WhatsApps 0727021702. What do you think of the plea deals that the NPA has been getting into of late with criminals? The latest one involves Steinhoff's former executive Hein Onderdale, who pleaded guilty to failing to report fraud. And as a result, he's going to avoid 4 years in jail if he pays a 2 million rand fine and doesn't reoffend. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have enough money, you can pay yourself out of jail. Isn't this the message being sent out? This former Steinhoff executive was found guilty of fraud. That's a serious crime. He failed to report fraud, which led to false and misleading audited financial statements. That's a serious crime. He had an additional 2 years imprisonment, which were wholly suspended. He will be subjected to his 1 year of correctional supervision. I worry about the message being sent out through these cases. Remember Angelo Agrizzi as well? The former Bosasa executive? He entered into a plea deal, pleaded guilty to 3 counts of corruption, avoided jail. We're talking here about corruption related to about 1.8 billion rand on tenders that Bosasa won from the Correctional Services Department. What message does this send out? And yes, I get it. Part of the agreement is for him to testify against his co-accused. But surely you can structure the agreement in such a way that the person still testifies against their co-accused, but also you reduce their sentence. Why can't these agreements be structured like that? Oh, wait, they actually have been structured like that when it comes to other criminals. Remember Vincent Smith? We spoke about him 2 weeks ago. The former ANC MP. He also pleaded guilty. He entered into a plea agreement. But he still went to jail. He is going to be there for 7 years. Remember Chifiwa Matodzi, the former chairperson and kingpin behind the collapse of the VBS Mutual Bank? He also entered into a plea and sentence agreement with the NPA. He pleaded guilty to 33 counts of corruption, theft, fraud, money laundering, racketeering. And although he was sentenced to a total of 495 years in prison, the plea agreement resulted in an effective 15-year jail sentence, as many of the sentences run concurrently. The point I'm making here is there are instances where you can still get someone to serve some time in jail because that consequence management is important. But then you just reduce their sentence from 20 years to maybe 15 or 10 or 5. But there's got to be consequences. Isn't that a more balanced approach? And you don't want a situation where people will think, oh, it's got to do with the color of their skin. You don't want that. In fact, someone, while I was speaking to the head of the NPA last night, sent a tweet to ask, why does it look like it's black people who enter a plea deal, but they still go to jail, and there are other white people who enter a plea deal, but they do not wear orange overalls, You don't want a scenario, and I'm not suggesting that's the case, because in fact, there are other people like, who's that guy? Van Tonder, who was the former VBS CFO. You know? Wait, Van Tonder was Bosasa. Yeah, wasn't Van Tonder Bosasa? Let's see. Van Tonder. Was it VBS or Bosasa? Oh, okay. Oh, there's different. I think there was a Van Tonder at Bosasa, but there's also a Van Tonder at VBS. So the Van Tonder from VBS was actually a CFO. And he entered into a plea deal, and I think he ended up serving about 3 or 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. But at least you see, that is also more balanced. You don't want to create an impression that the rich can pay themselves out of jail. I actually put this question to the head of the NPA, Advocate Ndimo TV. I spoke to him on the SABC last night, and this is how he responded to the question. There are some South Africans who look at this and think, so people who've got money can easily escape accountability in a sense, because they can avoid going to jail. And I know there are some people who are former employees of Steinhoff who have been sent directly to jail. But are you not worried that there's an impression created here that people can enter into plea deals and avoid jail and just pay their way out of jail, so to speak?
Right. Clement, I think you've really hit the nail on the head in terms of some of the public perceptions. And if we have issued a statement this evening, and amongst others, we are saying, we take these cases very serious. As we reported this morning, we actually said, most of the corruption cases, right, you find that there are enablers. And in our statement, we have said accountants, and others, right? This person, as I understand from my colleagues, this person was in the audit space, right? And he failed to report matters, right? That is a very serious, indictment on his part. It is expected, from auditors. We have seen it. We have seen it in the Zondo investigation and some of the investigations that SIU has done. We have seen that these enablers really facilitate. So from that point of view, these matters should be dealt with very, very seriously. Now, having said that, we are saying in the statement as well that each case is dealt with on its own merit, right? So in this case, the prosecution team at the director of public prosecution level in the Gauteng North are the one who were handling that, right? So they would have engaged with the accused team and look at the circumstances of the case and deemed it appropriate to accept the plea. And remember factors that are looked into account. One of them, of course, is public interest, whether it's in the public interest. Of course, the public can view it differently. But you know what? I think this is an area which requires attention, right? Given the perception, the unintended consequence that it results into. We had a matter that was reported, I think, last week or so, of the former parliamentarian Vincent Smith. It was also a plea,
but at least he's going to jail for a bit.
There we go. You see, as I say, each case dealt with on its own merit. That one had its own merits, and he ended up in jail. This one had its own merit. By the way, the 2 million, it's 2 million or 4 years, if I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So if he doesn't pay, he goes 4 years.
So that's what the head of the NPA said. If he doesn't pay 2 million, he goes to jail for 4 years. I mean, come on. An auditor who's been around for many years, of course they'll find 2 million rand to stay out of jail. My worry is, if I have enough money, I can just look the other side. And whenever I get arrested, I get into a plea deal. I plead guilty and I offer to pay 2 million rand. You don't want to create an impression like that. There must still be consequences. When people have been found guilty of serious crimes, there must be very severe consequences, and that includes them spending a couple of years in jail. At 10 o'clock, let me know what your thoughts are on that, please, on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do the Across the Desk feature. Today, I'm hosting Current Affairs TikTokers. So for decades, current affairs in South Africa lived in familiar spaces like your nightly TV bulletins, the morning newspapers, or maybe talk radio for you. But today, the news conversation is increasingly happening somewhere else. It's on your phone, in vertical video, often under a minute long. And that is the age of TikTok current affairs, where journalists, commentators, creators are breaking down politics, policy, global news for millions, especially of young people, young viewers who are scrolling through social media. So I've got three incredible people who are going to join me on the Across the Desk feature. Khomotso Modise is our colleague. These are voices that operate, at that intersection of journalism, commentary, and social media. So Khomotso Modise is our colleague here at Eyewitness News. She's going to be joining us. Dan Koda is a TV, radio, an internet personality known for mixing sharp commentary with satire. He's also going to join us. And Amahle Jaxa, who's a rising digital voice that often unpacks South African politics and social issues for online audiences. So that's between 10 and 11 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship and sex feature, which is adult radio. And today we're going to be discussing scheduled sex in long-term relationships. And yes, I know, for many couples, the early stages of a relationship are filled with spontaneity and it's excitement, the buzz. But as relationships grow longer, the reality is life tends to get busier. You've got work pressures, you've got children, you've got financial stress. Daily responsibilities can often push intimacy further down the priority list. So some relationship experts say one solution couples are mostly turning to lately is something called scheduled sex. So instead of waiting for intimacy to happen spontaneously, couples intentionally set aside time for it. You set about time for it to happen the same way they would plan a dinner date or, an important meeting. And for some people, that idea feels unromantic, yes, or even mechanical. But other people really think that scheduling intimacy can actually strengthen connection, can improve communication, and even help you as couples prioritize your relationship. So if you want to share your experiences with us, I'd like you to join this conversation at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement Manyathela. So today's my mother's birthday, and I'm so grateful, Clement. I am so grateful for this woman. I don't even know how to express my gratitude towards my mother for all that she has done for all 7 of us. So I am just so grateful. I'm happy that she's still with us. 2 years ago, she was so sick that, it was touch and go, but with God's grace, she's still here. We are celebrating her life. So I am so grateful. I am so grateful.
Good morning, Clement and listeners. I want to say thank you this morning. I have so much gratitude for my sister, for my family as a whole. They always look out for one another. My sister, out of the blue, blessed me this week. And I've been praying and saying, God, how am I going to get through this month? But wow, she just called me and said, I'm going to deposit some money in your account without having to ask her. I'm so grateful, and I'm praying that God bless her. Thank you, Clement, for this wonderful show. I pray that you also be blessed. And thank you for reminding us how to be grateful for the small things, for the big things. Have a wonderful Friday.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Morning, Clement. Yeah, this sends a very bad message, and the conspiracy theories who say justice system is for the rich. I mean, we recently had a pharmacist who defrauded James Medical Aid of 93,000, and he was given 10 years direct imprisonment. This guy, for his crimes, is fined 2 million and coupled with a wholly suspended sentence. Yeah, it doesn't send a very good message. Bupilo here from Benoni.
Yes, Clement, morning. You're absolutely right, because, and this is where we need full statements, even from the SIU, because if this guy is a CFO, I mean, how much did he accumulate over the years, as you correctly say? If this guy was there for 10, 15 years, he probably made well over 200 million. And now he's going to pay 1%, and I'm assuming, but if we use those type of figures, and it would be 1% of what he has benefited from as a slap on the wrist. So this is where we also need to understand it. SIU recover any illicit funds that he, because I mean, it was complete dereliction of duty. He's not supposed to get any pension or keep any of the bonuses and everything that he might have been rewarded with over the years because of this absolute corruption where people lost their pensions. And this is what we need to understand from these sentences. So yes, did the SIU seize his assets? What is the fine? And there probably needs to be at least that minimum 3-year jail sentence. Otherwise, we're not going to win this battle. Pan in Prague, Punjab.
Hi, Clement. I don't know if this guy is an auditor and he was accepted to uphold a certain oath, certain rules of his profession, like accountants would, as well as auditors would, having licenses to operate as one. Was his license revoked because he failed to report fraud that was happening even when he was auditing? I don't know if he's not going to go to jail, then he must not continue as an auditor. His license must be revoked. I don't know if I hit the head on the nail.
Yeah, I don't know what the process is. Maybe we'll find out from an organization that regulates auditors whether there are consequences to that effect. I suspect there will be, but the point here is there are people who see fraud happen. In fact, they help facilitate that fraud because you know about it and you're keeping quiet. And in this case, this is the man who was one of the auditors for Steinhoff. What did he do when he realized that there is fraud that's taking place? He failed to report it. What did that lead to? It led to false and misleading audited financial statements, which led to billions being lost. That is quite serious. And to give an option of 4 years or 2 million rand, I don't know. I just don't think it sends the right message. And we've spoken about this many, many times, even when the VBS guys were entering into plea deals and they spent 3 years in jail, then they're out. It's 26 after 9.
Africa Milani,
Weekday mornings.
4 to 6.
We do know how disruptive illegal mining operation can be in Gauteng, in various parts of Gauteng, Northwest and surrounding provinces. This would be a welcome deployment, I would imagine, David, yes?
Well, I think for the residents of communities like Riverlea and so on, it definitely is a welcome deployment, but I don't think it's a solution to the problem unless we actually deal with the issue of mine closure and rehabilitation.
David van Wyk is with the Benchmarks Foundation, reflecting on the deployment of the South African National Defence Force to fight illegal mining.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
You may regret giving your barber permission to surprise you with something different.
But with Outsurance Essential Car Insurance, you'll have no regrets covering your older car at a much lower premium. And claims are paid in cash within only 5 working days. Get Outsurance Essential Car Insurance today for unfinanced cars older than 5 years valued at less than 130,000 Rand. SMS SAVE to 45363. That's SAVE to 45363. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
More than 5,700 cases of cervical cancer are reported in South Africa each year. Sadly, more than 3,000 women in our country die from this disease annually. But there is hope. We have intensified the war against this deadly disease. Over the past few years, more than 3.6 million girls have benefited from the HPV vaccination program that protects them from cervical cancer. We are accelerating this program to ensure that millions more of our young girls are protected from this preventable disease. The success of this campaign depends on collaboration among all stakeholders, especially parents and caregivers who are required to give consent for their daughter to participate in the vaccination program. For more information, visit your nearest healthcare facility. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Health.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports, no more disconnected systems, no more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. ISTRATGO.com.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Eldos has had promises before. I mean, I'm going all the way back to 2013 when there was so much activity. Former President Zuma came out there. Herman Mashaba, I believe, was the mayor in 2018, and he got a little bit involved opening a substance abuse treatment center. Has anything really changed in Eldos over those 13 years?
Nothing has been done. We had the Barretts before. We had set from Cape Town assisting us with the crime. They also left a lot of damages.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman is proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
9:30, time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. When we come back, we go back to your calls and WhatsApps on the 702 open lines. So good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Cape Town has been rocked by yet another deadly mass shooting, this time in Bishop Lavies. Police say 3 men were killed and 4 others wounded in a gun attack last night. The shooting comes less than a week after 4 people were shot and killed in Philippi East. Judgment is pending in the Information Regulator's application for leave to appeal a High Court ruling on the publication of matric results in December last year. A full bench of the Pretoria High Court dismissed the regulator's bid to permanently scrap the publication. The regulator argues it's in breach of the Protection of Personal Information Act. And the Israeli military says it has launched a new wave of strikes in Tehran this morning on the 14th day of its campaign. It says the strikes targeted infrastructure against the capital. This is part of more blasts reported in multiple parts of the Middle East this morning. Officials in Dubai, Tehran and Beirut say people have been woken up by the sound of explosions as the latest war in the region continues. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling on the N1 North in Sunning Hill, we've got an accident right near the Baklu interchange. Delays coming out of Rivonia Road. There's also queuing traffic on the Mark 1 North. This is between Boysons Road and the Crown turn off. Do expect delays if you're traveling in the east of Joburg, particularly on the N12 as well as the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. There's also some issues being reported on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Kilulis interchange. In the city of Tshwane, we've got a backlog along the N14 North approaching Euphus Road. This is due to an earlier accident, so please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
9:32, back to your calls on 011-883-0702. Lucky, you're calling from Kempton Park. Good morning. What are you grateful for?
Good morning, Mr. Clement. I'm grateful for the service that I got from Ekurhuleni of all the places, Ekurhuleni Traffic Department.
What happened?
Yesterday I was renewing my license.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of expired. I popped in, my appointment was at 8:40. I popped in at 8:20. They gladly assisted me. Got done in less than 20 minutes. I was done.
Wow.
What I picked, they have got nice ladies with a customer-centric behavior.
Is that why you loved the service, Lucky? Because they have nice ladies there.
On a lighter note,
I know.
The one thing that I observed is the guys there, they aren't handsome at all.
No, Lucky, thank you for calling about that, because we often make noise about when service is not being rendered well, when we are queuing for too long. So we need to be fair. So when we see some good services at traffic departments or at public hospitals or these public institutions, we need to be consistent and say, this is how we become fair. We must report it and say, oh, this is the good experience I got, and not only complain. So thank you for that. Kudos to the licensing department in Tembisa. Kudos to you. We must all give you raises. Yeah? Especially the beautiful ladies there. Jimmy, you're calling from Pretoria. Good morning. Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, good morning. Is that Clement?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, Clement. Yeah, I'd like to comment about the topic about corruption and people stealing money, etc. It's just a pity that the people in top positions like Zuma, for example, is a typical example that this man, there's so many cases against him, but he doesn't go to jail. He's still enjoying his freedom and all the money that he stole from the government, as well as the state capture nonsense. I mean, there's a lot of projects that the people start in those projects and they never finish and they run away with the money. There's a typical example here in Linwood Road in Pretoria. I mean, I don't know if you're aware that they started the implementation of widening the road and all that, and it just stopped. And another typical example as well is in George, in the Western Cape. If you come out of the airport and towards Knysna, there's a bridge there that it was started by a state capture company, and they haven't finished it in 11 years. I mean, they take the money, they run away with the money, and nothing happens. I mean, only the small fry go to jail, but the big people with big connections, they don't go to jail. What I would like to say about all this, I just hope that Donald Trump comes and do what he did in other countries in South Africa. I just hope he does that, because I mean, it's only thugs and crooks in the government that are stealing and they don't care about anything. So I just hope Trump comes to South Africa.
Jimmy, can I ask you one question?
Yes.
During the apartheid era, before 1990, would you still call Trump to come and deal with those crooks, those immoral people in that ruthless system? You would?
Definitely. The white oppressors should have been taken to book as well.
How would you have liked that? What they must? They should have abducted the leader. Like Trump must come abduct the president now, or invade?
Yes, he should. Not only the president, everybody that is that is in his cabinet, that are all a bunch of crooks.
Just take them and take them to the U.S.
Well, they should go and get tried.
Where?
In a court of law.
Where?
Where in America, in Russia, in somewhere.
Which law allows for that?
Sorry?
Which law allows for people who have made crimes in South Africa to go and be tried in a separate jurisdiction in America?
But why not? I mean, there is an international court of law as well that permits that. I mean, I mean, people can't just go and do genocide, for example, and get away with it without the rest of the world being caring about it. I'm so glad that Trump went into Venezuela, because that guy was oppressing the people in such a way. I think what Trump did is right, what he did, as well as the other countries that he's attacking now. I mean, those people are oppressors. They're oppressing their own people. I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on. So I respect Trump, because he's a man with guts, and he's a man that decided to do something about it. While Biden, what did he do? He did nothing, you know. He just let the world go by, doing whatever they were doing, right or wrong, and he couldn't care a damn, you know. So I think Trump should come to South Africa, and not only to South Africa, other countries that are taking advantage of the poor individuals and the poor people of the country. They should be brought to book, because I mean, South Africa does not belong to Zuma, doesn't belong to anybody but to the people of the country. So therefore, he should come to South Africa. I mean, this is ridiculous what's going on in this country. I was always against apartheid, but this now is not better. It's not better. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh, okay, Jimmy.
If there's a war in South Africa, do you know that there's not even a fighter plane that is working? There's no helicopters. Everything is broken.
Well, that will be good for your friend Trump, right? Because it will make his job easy.
Yes.
All right, Jimmy in Pretoria, let me thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for calling. President Trump, you've been called to South African shores to do what you've done in Venezuela and where else? In Iran. It's 22 before 10.
Good morning, Clement. Regarding the Steinhoff auditor, yeah, we might say maybe because he didn't do prison time, but his life will forever be changed. First of all, I assume that he's a chartered accountant. So SAICA has already taken that title off, and he's blacklisted. So he will never be able to work in the financial services industry, unless maybe he has some sort of business or whatever he has going on. But his life will never be the same. And guys, 2 million is not chump change.
Clement, good morning, and 702 listeners. Clement, on this issue of SIU or NPA of the plea, I have my cousin with his two colleagues. They work for a certain municipality. They used to raise rent for people. Then two of them went to plea. They were sentenced to 2 years. Then my cousin never went a plea. Then fast forward, when they come back from jail, that's when she went for plea, and she didn't went to jail like others. Thanks, Clement Anonymous from somewhere in South Africa. Thanks for a good show. Clement, good morning, and 702 listeners. Clement, on this issue of SIU or NPA of the plea, I have my cousin with his two colleagues. They work for a certain municipality.
Hello, Clement. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm grateful that I broke my 10-kilometer PB. I went from 1 hour, 1 minute to 52 minutes. So
wow.
I'm really grateful. It's a good day.
That's pretty.
Thanks.
That is pretty dope. From 1 hour, 1 minute, 10 kilometers to 52 minutes. My goodness, that is quite fast. Where did you break your PB? Is it at the very same route you run at, or is it in different terrain? Because of course, when you're running in, for instance, Cape Town, it's much easier to get a PB there, because of the other dynamics there. I'm interested, but well done. That's pretty dope. From 1 hour, 1 or 2 minutes to about 52 minutes. That's amazing, bro. Congratulations. It's 19 minutes now, before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Are you one of those people who blow their own horn? Or do you know people who like to do that? I mean, there are some things that you must get people to say about you and not say that about yourself. Melania Trump was speaking yesterday at the Women's History Month celebrations at the White House, and she showered herself with praise.
As a visionary, I know success is not born overnight, but rather takes shape after a long and sometimes challenging process. Often alone at the top, I follow my passion, listen to my instinct, and always maintain a laser focus. In solitude, my creative mind dances, filling my imagination with originality. Attention to detail, demanding schedules, and multitasking are everyday realities when building towards success. The principle resonates across all my roles as a mother, humanitarian, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. As well as with my new film, where I shaped its creative direction, served as a producer, managed post-production, and activated the marketing campaign. Curiosity is a core value that keeps me ahead of the curve. Curiosity begets knowledge, opening doors to ideas and industry that I have otherwise overlooked. This unrestricted mindset has led me to build across very different sectors: fashion, digital assets, publishing, accessories, skincare, commercial television, and of course, filmmaking.
Yeah, often alone at the top. Which top? Yeah, I got it, guys, but I'm ahead of the curve. Which curve? I don't know. But you know when you are going to be a speaker somewhere and they do like a whole profile, I'm often very uncomfortable about that. Like, there are people who actually are good to just sit there and listen to someone say, this person is an amazing architect, having studied this and gotten this. He has led the charts with this. I don't know. And some people are comfortable with that. But to say it yourself, can somebody else at least say it? I'm very uncomfortable with that. If it's going to be even said before I'm going to start work as an MC or I'm speaking somewhere, I'm very uncomfortable. Like, just get there. Just say my name and surname. That's it. And let me do the work. But some people want to be the ones that say it themselves. I mean, much like Trump. I mean, how many times has the U.S. president praised himself, eh?
In 50 years, a president that's won, even a popular president, somebody that's done well. I'm popular and I've done well. I mean, I think we have the greatest economy actually ever in history. We broke 50 and we broke 7,000. They said I wouldn't do that for 4 years, and I did it in 1 year. We have to get the word out, okay? If we can get the word out, we should.
He even said, oh, man, you've got to love the Trumps. Kanye West also likes blowing his own horn.
But we culture. Rap the new rock and roll. We culture. Rap is the new rock and roll. We the rock stars.
It's been like that now for a minute.
It's been like that for a minute, Hedy Slimane. It's been like that for a minute. We the real rock stars, and I'm the biggest of all of them.
I'm the biggest of all of them. Do you know people like that who like blow their own horns? Do you do that? And what's the difference between doing so with pride and doing so with a bit of humility, where you're just acknowledging how great you are? I've worked once with a producer. Hey, what if she's listening? She didn't work here. It's before I came here. But she could be listening, so maybe I shouldn't tell the story. Could she be listening? There's someone I worked with once, I won't say where. She used to tell us she's beautiful every day. I'm beautiful. And we used to think, oh, wow, her mom has raised a really confident girl. So we were divided on it. Some people were like, wow, she's quite a confident girl, which is great. And other people were like, Is it confidence or is it just too much pride? So there are people like that who actually do it because they're just confident. Their parents raised them to be confident boys and girls. But sometimes it really can be uncomfortable. How do you balance it? How do you navigate that? Give me a call. Send me a WhatsApp voice note. It's 13 before 10.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I believe that there was a conversation in Lesotho. Some people are saying that they want a certain piece of South Africa. The Boere are saying that they want a Volksstaat. The king of Abatembu says 26% of the South African hinterland is owned by the Abatembu. And that is because people look at South Africa and they think South Africa is just a place where you can just rip it apart and get whatever you want. You all better understand this is our home. And we might ultimately lose the battle, but you know what? You're going to get a fight. I can tell you that right now, you are going to get a fight. We might not have the finances. Damn it, you're going to get a fight.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Do you remember the promise Nelson Mandela made to our country's children that they would grow up with dignity, protection, and hope? This Human Rights Month, we honor that promise as the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund marks 30 years of changing how society treats its children. In 2026, we celebrate a legacy that still calls on all of us to care, uplift, and make every child's future brighter, and to follow his example by loving children the Nelson Mandela way. The Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, celebrating 30 years of impact. Learn more at nelsonmandelachildrensfund.com.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Why worry about getting lost when you can discover so much more? Don't settle for a pavement 4x4. Get the Tank 300 from only $7,399 per month with off-road navigation that helps you stay on track. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
From bold ideas to businesses built from the ground up, South Africa's powered by what we make right here at home. This March, local takes center stage. The Buy Local Summit and Expo returns for its 14th year, hosted by proudly South African, 16 to 17 March at the Sandton Convention Center. Catch the Clement Manyathela Show live from the summit on Tuesday the 17th for highlights, live updates, and more. Discover why localization is critical to SA's economic future. That's the Clement Manyathela Show, live from the Buy Local Summit and Expo, Tuesday 17 March. Brought to you by Proudly South African on 702.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
It's 10 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Hi, Clement. I have to say that listening to, well, I can barely listen to him, but anyway, Trump and various others are like, I don't know if you know that book, The Emperor with No Clothes, where somebody designed him a suit and it was no suit. He was just walking around naked, thinking he's still the emperor, thinking he's the king of the world, and he's walking around naked. Sarah from How to Be a Sport.
Good morning, Clement. Happy Friday. I'm laughing at you being uncomfortable with people singing their own praises. And I'm wondering, how do you feel about people wishing themselves happy birthday? I've seen that a lot going around. That makes me uncomfortable. But I guess it's self-love. By the way, it's my birthday today. Thanks, Clement.
And here you are wishing yourself happy birthday. Okay, happy birthday. I don't know. I think that's fine. Like, oh, I'd like to wish a happy birthday to myself because maybe you're celebrating another year, right? For me, I'm like, I mean, if you are the one declaring things for yourself, like this former colleague of mine I told you about who used to say I'm beautiful, and please stop asking me if she was really beautiful because that's a subject of another debate. Again, that for me indicates to you that beauty maybe is in the eye, but again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Meaning you are the one that can see whether you're beautiful. Beholder ke mang kanti is the other person looking. So how can you say I'm beautiful when we haven't told you that then? So there was debate. In fact, yeah, the person would think they are, but are they? I don't think that people must wait for people, of course, to tell you if you're beautiful. I think you must just know it and own it. But do you go around announcing, I am beautiful? Then you force us to look and make our own determinations. Huh? More of your WhatsApps and calls after this.
Part of the 702 family.
My name is Ephraim Morobela. I'm from Midrand. I'm one of the 702 listeners. What I enjoy is different people's perspectives as well as presenters who give a different perspective with regard to what is happening all over the world.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Need a seat? Try 7 or 5. It's your call. Want a sunroof? Make it a panoramic. Gotta have power? How does award-winning 138 kilowatt sound? The Changan CS75 Pro is big enough for the kids, smart enough for your playlist, and stylish enough for your Friday night too. Why settle when you can have it all without compromise? The Changan CS75 Pro. Drive tomorrow's SUV today. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more.
Changan, driven to evolve.
Gear up for glorious Grand Slam success with Hollywood Bets. Take your tennis passion to new heights and feel every stroke, rally, and match point as the drama unfolds at the Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and US Open. The biggest stages in tennis have been set as the world's best go head-to-head for ultimate bragging rights. Bet now and make every moment count.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
With Outsurance, saving on your car insurance feels like hitting every green robot on your way to work. 35-year-old Zanai saves a whopping 1,180 Rand on a 2027 Mercedes-Benz GLA. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get savings or cash. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
5 minutes before 10 o'clock. Semi, you're in Centurion. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Clement.
Sure, bro. Go ahead.
Clement, you know, if you know that you're good at something and you can back it up, then go around, blow your own horn. Why wait for other people to do it for you? Like, for example, Kanye West. He's the best R&B and hip-hop.
Yeah.
He's the best R&B. He's better than Dr. Dre.
I agree.
I
agree.
He's better than Dr. Dre. So the guy must blow his own horn.
As long as you can back it up.
Yeah, you can back it up. You look at, for example, Tupac used Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. used to blow their own horn because they were the best lyricists.
Absolutely.
Michael Jackson never did it because he was too much humble. But if you can back it up, Clement, look at your ratings right now. Compare yourself with other talk show presenters. And if you find that you're better than that, from Monday you must start doing your own horn.
No. You'll never hear it from me, Semi. You'll never hear it from me. I am uncomfortable with things like that. That's why even when I work with producers, I always tell them, don't put up voice notes that are praising me. I don't like that. I don't want to be on the radio and I'm hearing people say, oh, Clement, you were amazing. You are, no, I don't like that. It's uncomfortable to me. Yeah? So, no, it's not going to happen. But Sami Centurion, thank you for your call. More of your WhatsApps.
Good morning, Clemi. How are you? I hope that you are fine, thanks. Hey, Clemi, compliments of the new year. I haven't sent a voice note this year. Hey, Clemi, a friend of mine told me a story. So she attended a funeral. It was somewhere in the Northwest Province. So my friend is like, hey, I was so confused. I was wondering, like, whose funeral is this? So the reason why she attended the funeral is she was there to support a friend, and a friend is a doctor. So now, every now and then, the lady friend would stand up the doctor, and then she'll be like, yeah, this funeral I did 1, 2, 3, and my mom, and what, and me in my surgery, and my what, got everything. It was about her to a point whereby people were confused. Is this the mother or the daughter or the what?
Good morning, Clems. Well, I do blow my own horn. I do. More often than usual, eh? But it's because I work with people. I'm a fitness instructor, and I've seen results, and I'll give them feedback and be like, you know what, you really worked. I congratulate them first with saying, you have really, really worked. Eh? You've shown up for yourself, and that's great. I got to say, I'm the best trainer. I'm the good fitness instructor, So I do blow my own horn as much as I see the results. This is Happy Totesi from Swanepoel.
Yeah, Happy. How about, let's give you a challenge. Come and give me a 6-pack in 4 weeks. And then we'll decide and see if we can prove that you're the best trainer ever. How about that? I guess the compromise here is if you can back it up. Maybe that's the compromise. If you can back it up, oh my dear, go ahead. Shower yourself with praise. But if you really can't, maybe not.
Hey, today could be your last day stuck in the middle of taxi mads and 4/4 overload. Get the Haval Jolien Pro Limited Edition from only $4,699 per month with Apple CarPlay and a panoramic sunroof to start your journey to ultimate freedom. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Turn leadership into action. Join the CEO Wheelchair Campaign with the Little Eden Society and spend a day in a wheelchair, experiencing the realities thousands face every day. Raise funds, build empathy, help provide lifelong care and dignity to those who cannot care for themselves. Ride a mile in our wheels. Visit littleeden.org or call 011 609 7246. Lead with heart, change lives, and create hope for families across South Africa.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I am Sfiso Zulu. We begin in Cape Town, where the city has been rocked by yet another deadly mass shooting, this time in Bishop Lavies. Police say 3 men were killed and 4 others wounded last night. The attack is believed to be gang-related. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
The Western Cape's anti-gang unit has been assigned the case after a group of 7 men were targeted in a gun attack in Kalksteenfontein last night. Police say the men were sitting outside drinking when a vehicle pulled up nearby. 3 three armed suspects allegedly got out of the car and randomly opened fire on the group before fleeing the scene in the same vehicle. Police spokesperson Novela Potelwa says the deployment of law enforcers has been bolstered in Bishop Levis and surrounds following the attack. It's the 7th mass shooting reported in Cape Town since Saturday. At least 20 fatalities have been recorded in separate shooting incidents this week. Ndutuzalo Nene, Eyewitness News.
In Limpopo, police have arrested 6 suspects following a taxi violence attack. A group from a rival taxi association assaulted some drivers yesterday at the rank in Mulitlane. The gang is also accused of attacking a woman who recorded the incident. The police's Malisela Lidwaba.
The Provincial Commissioner of Police in Limpopo, Lieutenant General Timbi Hadebe, has praised the swift arrest of the suspect. She reiterated that the quick response by members of Provincial Taxi Unit demonstrates their commitment to decisively deal with taxi-related violence in the province.
Judgment is pending in the Information Regulator's application for leave to appeal a High Court ruling on the publication of matric results. In December last year, a full bench of the Pretoria High Court dismissed the regulation's bid to permanently scrap the publication. The regulator argues it's a breach of the protection of personal information, and the matter was heard virtually yesterday. Ray Clark has the details.
The case dates back to 2024 when the Information Regulator issued an infringement notice to the Department of Basic Education after it ordered the department not to contravene the POPI Act. The regulator fined the department for 5 million rand for its failure to commit to fulfilling the regulator's instructions by 19 December 2024. The regulator lost the case against the department in AfriForum in December when the court ruled that publishing matric results by using examination numbers was sufficient protection for learners' identity. AfriForum's Alana Bailey says that while the regulator is appealing the ruling and challenging the court's authority, AfriForum maintains the learners' rights were protected and that the court did have jurisdiction.
Clarity about the acceptability of this and about the balance between the right to privacy and public interest is urgently required.
AfriForum says it is eagerly awaiting the court's decision on whether the regulator will be granted the right of appeal. Ray Clark, Eyewitness News.
And the Israeli military says it has launched a new wave of strikes in Tehran this morning on the 14th day of its campaign. It says strikes targeted infrastructure against the capital. This is part of more blasts reported in multiple parts of the Middle East just this morning. Officials in Dubai, Tehran and Beirut say people have been woken up by the sound of explosions as the latest war in the region continues. The strikes started last month when the U.S. and Israel bombed Iran, which retaliated by targeting places including American military bases in Gulf countries. Meanwhile, a French soldier has been killed in an attack in Iraq's autonomous Kurdistan region, making it the first French military death in the war. The Israeli military says that Iran fired a new barrage of missiles towards it, while Saudi Arabia intercepted dozens of drones entering its airspace. Gold is trading at $5,190.50 an ounce. The rand is at 16.85 to the dollar, 22.43 to the pound, 19.35 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $100.43 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North. This is between Rivonia Road and the Baklu interchange due to an earlier accident. There's also queuing traffic along the Mark 1 North between Boyesons Road and the Crown interchange. This is due to roadworks.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Cape Town has been rocked by yet another deadly mass shooting, this time in Bishop Levis.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the award-winning Clement Manyathela Show. Should I do that now? Because people are blowing their own horns. Imagine how weird that would sound. Huh? No. But I think the compromise we reached on the open line today is if you can back it up, like Kanye West, who is the best, or Tupac at the time, who was the best, then maybe it's okay for you to blow your own horn. But for Melania Trump to say, I'm ahead of the Kev, I'm often alone at the top, yeah, I don't know about that. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship and sex feature today. We are going to have a discussion about scheduled sex in long-term relationships. This is adult radio, so no kids are allowed at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start with our Across the Desk feature.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
So on our Across the Desk feature this morning, I'm hosting current affairs TikTokers. So as you know, for decades, current affairs in this country, in fact globally, lived in familiar spaces. So you're watching the news on television, you're reading the morning newspapers, you're listening to talk radio. But today, the news conversation is increasingly happening somewhere else. It's on our phones. It's in vertical video, often under a minute long. And this is the age of TikTok current affairs. You've got journalists, commentators, creators that are breaking down politics, they're breaking down policy, global news for millions of young people that are scrolling through social media. And I would like to hear from you if you often rely on these TikTok accounts that break down the news, give you a summary of what's happened, you know, some of the headlines. Because in fact, across the continent, and particularly in South Africa, the shift towards social first news is actually quite dramatic. Studies show that about 33% of South Africans now use TikTok to consume news, while even more actually rely on platforms like YouTube and other social media for current affairs updates. And I think this change really reflects a broader global trend. So give me a call on 011-883-0702 if you're one of those that follow some of these TikTokers that give you a summary of what happened or just what's in the headlines or some analysis. You can send a WhatsApp as well on 072-702-1702. I'm joined by three voices who operate at this intersection of journalism, commentary, and social media. We've got Khomotso Modise in studio with us, who's a respected senior reporter here at Eyewitness News, who always brings us breaking news and analysis to radio and digital audiences. Khomotso, thank you for coming through. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're often on this side of the
of
the mic. Yeah.
Now, it feels good to be on the other
feels
side.
good.
Yeah, a little bit of a little intimidating, a little scary, but yes.
All right. We also have Dan Koda, who is a TV, radio, and internet personality known for mixing sharp commentary with satire and deep dives into South African politics and culture on television and online platform. Dan, you're also used to being on this side of the mic. Thank you for coming through, man.
So nice to be on the radio again. This is my, I always think that all broadcasters have, all of us, no matter how many different platforms, you're also on TV, of course.
Yeah.
We've all got almost like a species of animal, one home habitat.
Yeah.
And this is my true habitat. This is like, come back to
absolutely.
radio and I'm like, let me like crack my fingers, get comfortable.
No, it's good to have you, man. We also have Amahle Jaxa, who is a digital voice unpacking South African politics, social issues for online audiences, particularly through short-form video commentary. Amahle, thank you so much for also joining us. Good morning.
Morning. How's it? Thank you so much for having me.
We're good. I want to kick off with you, Khomotso. You already do news. You report on Eyewitness News. You report on breaking news. When did you decide, okay, I have to do this? Because here's how I found out now you are a trending superstar. A lot of my friends rely on your videos. Like they'll send, one time a friend just sent me a video you had done. I was like, isn't that Khomotso Modise? And I didn't know that's what you do. When did you realize that, here's an opportunity here?
Sure. Look, I think it's been, a year and a half maybe of being consistent. And I say consistent because I had been making content before last year or the year before, but I started making content consistently about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I just got tired of being the lady in the comment section, Clem.
Oh, you were that girl?
I was that girl. I got so tired of being the person saying that's not true, right? And what I realized is that the video that had a lot of inaccuracies was making it much further than my little comment in the comment section. And maybe one or two people who understood what I was talking about or understood the subject matter would come into my comments and or come into the comment, like it, and engage me. But everyone else was going with what this sometimes very well-meaning creator was saying that was, factually incorrect. So I decided, maybe let me just start making content and people will come to my platform to get the correct information, hopefully.
Yeah.
And, they did. So that's how it started for me. It was really just about how's about we create a platform where when people want to know the truth, accurate information that they can rely on. I mean, I was already making that type of content. I say it all the time, that journalists are actually content creators already, So I was already doing this, and it was on other traditional platforms. It was on the radio, of course. It was on YouTube for EWN. It was a really seamless shift or move for me to start doing it on TikTok. And that's how it started for me.
I come to you as well because, there's like Madlanga, then there's ad hoc.
Yes.
Like you have to choose one.
Yes.
Sometimes they're both hot in one day.
Yes.
And I'm stuck at Madlanga, and sometimes I come because I really like that. Sometimes you take the key important stories and you just summarize that. And even as someone who's in the news, sometimes I've not really caught up with the latest.
And you know what it is?
Me out.
Yeah, it's the summarizing and then the contextualizing, which I think is what people sometimes struggle with.
Yeah.
So they might understand that this happened, but the context isn't always present there, and being able to make sense of it. And I think that's what I try to do on my videos.
Yeah. Dan, you've built an audience across TV, radio, social media. How different is storytelling on TikTok compared to the traditional broadcasting that you've done for many years now?
Just checking my TikTok comment sections to see whether or not it was my videos that Khomotso was so outraged by in the comments that I was the genesis of your outrage and then your creativity. You know what's so interesting, and both of you will understand this, is that TikTok is fundamentally like radio in terms of the speed and word efficiency that you need to affect to get somebody's attention and to hold it. And so the word economy and the efficiency of humor and the distillation of what is most important to say immediately and as speedily as possible. Khomotso, I am always stunned and in awe of you guys for the way that you're able to pack the most crucial of enormous and many stories into so little time. That is the attention economy already at work. And so when I realized, so I'm obviously on a multitude of things. So when I write for TV, I write completely differently because I know I've got more average view time than if I'm on TikTok, and somebody doesn't click another channel as easily as they swipe their thumb. I write differently for YouTube, and I write differently for radio because it's all different times of attention economy practices. And fundamentally, what I realized very quickly about TikTok, and now that they've changed the algorithm, Instagram, their algorithm operates very similarly to TikTok. It used to be that Instagram suppressed political content, suppressed news content, suppressed word-heavy content on a screen. But now they've changed it, so my videos perform similarly on Instagram and TikTok. But the lesson here is that the people doing the absolute best in terms of rapid word economy and getting efficient storytelling are the radio presenters on TikTok.
That's interesting.
For me, at least.
That's really dope. Amahle, what about you? Like because what you do as well, your content really breaks down these complex political issues, whether it's on YouTube, it's on TikTok, and it's in a way that actually resonates with online audiences. What inspired you to start doing current affairs content?
Well, for me, it was a disconnect with my brother where we essentially got into this big argument and he was refusing to vote in 2024. And he didn't see the need to vote. And for me, voting is such an important factor of being a South African. And then through conversations with him and his friends, I just realized that there's a whole generation that's coming after me. I'm a millennial who is very much disinterested in politics. And I find politics and current affairs to be so interesting. So I thought to myself, okay, how can I break down these topics so that they get involved? Because what I noticed with my brother is that it's not that he doesn't want to get involved. It's just that he's almost left out of the conversation because of the heavy jargon of politics, or because it just feels worldly and outside of his spec of life. And because of social media, as Dan mentioned, they don't have the attention spans we have. We used to sit with our parents and watch the news because there was only one TV. There was, and that's, I think, why my generation is a little bit more informed about these things. But they grew up on iPads and laptops and cell phones. So that was kind of like the inspiration to kind of just target the next generation. I then didn't also expect the overlap into the older generation. I mean, I bumped into a lady yesterday and she's probably in her 50s and she was like, "Are you the Housed lady?" Thank you so much. I didn't anticipate that at all.
Yeah.
So that was kind of for me, because I find politics and current affairs to be so interesting, and watching our country, become what it has become. I felt that, like, in order for us to make change in this country, we kind of have to be educated on the issues that are happening and how we can better equip ourselves with information and knowledge.
Yeah. Dan, one of the things, I mean, of course, what I enjoy with your videos also is just like the satire that you add. And of course, the political analysis as well, because you will say this is what's happening, but this is what I think of it. And sometimes you're brave enough to like call it for what it is, which is why, like myself, we end up getting into trouble and politicians don't want to come on our shows, whatever. But how do you balance that? Have you found that that's gotten into trouble a lot, especially when you were doing your show on ANC and you're inviting politicians to come to studio?
Well, I do not get politicians because, unfortunately, unlike in other countries in the world, politicians in this country have not yet understood that the performance art of effective politics is to take on the hard questions. They're fearful. I was once told by somebody who I'd invited on because I agreed with them. They were the head of the gambling monitoring board, and I wanted to get them on to talk about how seriously the gambling crisis is affecting people in this country. So clearly I wasn't going to roast her at all or give her a hard time. And she came on and she was like, "So I've heard this is going to be tough for me." And I was like, no, it's not going to be tough for you at all. But on the other hand, politicians almost uniformly in this country will not speak to me because they are unwilling to submit to a challenging and a hard question or be open to jokes. One very significant exception is the about to be federal leader of the Democratic Alliance, Jordan Hill-Lewis, who attended my live theatre show in Cape Town in front of 300 people at the Old Fugard Theatre, the Homecoming Centre. And he took hard questions, took a joke, joked with me. And even though half the audience was there to give him a hard time while the other half were his followers, it stood him so well. Like, I said to him at the beginning, because this was one day after Steenhuisen had announced that he was going to no longer run. I said to him at the beginning, "I know you're not going to talk about this, but blink once if you're about to be the new DA federal leader." And he very theatrically, I don't know if he was a theatre kid, he leant towards me, camera zooms in, you can see it on YouTube, and he double blinked, like both eyes. And that's the kind of vulnerability and personality that works with politicians around the world. The fact that the vast majority of politicians would rather take me to the BCCSA and lose, which is a 100 out of 100% record so far, than talk to me is just a further indictment on the wrong way that politicians are going about being politicians. But yeah, just like you, Clement, I think my position is always I have a healthy and warranted disrespect for the entire political class that I think is overwhelmingly self-serving, immoral, hypocritical, and untalented. And it's very easy for me now to do what I do because I think I've been doing this long enough that no one sincerely thinks I'm batting for a side because they've seen me take out or at least criticize everybody. There is no way you can say I'm an ANC shill or a DA shill or an EFF shill because look at my body of work.
That's it. And that's how you know you're doing it right.
I hope so, yeah.
Khomotso, is there often tension, though, from your experience between like traditional newsroom standards and the fast-paced world of social media commentary? Because what I find sometimes is, we want just the breaking and you want to be the first to break it. And sometimes you don't do it responsibly because you're not giving the necessary context.
Yeah.
What have you observed in these platforms?
No, absolutely. I think that there is tension. I think that Dan knows this. I was at an event a few months ago where you were actually speaking about this.
Sorry, which one?
One of the banks actually had an event. I don't know if I can. Yes, right. And I think you felt really attacked on that day because the current conversation and the discourse is content creator creator versus journalist. In fact, yesterday on LinkedIn, I saw a meme of someone like a side-eyeing, and it was like journalists looking at content creators, right? And I can't stand you. So that,
Really?
yes.
Is there tension like that?
Yes. There is that conversation. That is the discourse. And I suppose what it's about from a journalist perspective, and I always joke that I'm right in the middle, right? Is that content creators may be using our news stories that we've worked so hard for. We've done all this research. I know how long it takes to put together, a long exclusive piece, and then Dan Kora comes with his 3-minute video, circles a couple of things, keywords that he thinks are cool, and that's the perception. I'm not saying that's what you do, right? But the perception.
Oh, that's exactly what I do. Thank you so much.
But the perception is, who's this Dan Kora? Who is this, Amatha Jakes, who sat there, circled a couple of things, and thought that she could summarize my story that I wrote for 3 weeks in 3 minutes, right? But I think we need to move from that, man. I had this conversation a few weeks ago as well, and I said, at the heart of it, we work to inform and educate, and we want to empower people to make, responsible decisions. And I don't think it should matter, just as long as the content creators, are responsible in how they tell the stories. I think that's an important part of the conversation. But I don't think it matters whether it's coming from a traditional news source or if it's coming from a person who responsibly sat down, credited the journalist, and did their due diligence and just told the story. We're getting information out there. We want to empower people. That's what should be at the top, for us, and not necessarily the fact that it's been done by this guy or that guy.
Absolutely. And that's always a debate that happens. Even with broadcasters, remember when podcasts were coming up, and then there's like radio presenters who were also looking at podcasters like, I can't stand them.
Yes.
Which is just weird. The world is moving, guys. We need to move along.
Do you know what I find? So a couple of things, and we talked about this at that event, is that one, podcasting and content creation should just be thought of as the new talk radio and the new TV. It's a mass broadcast medium that operates off of journalists' work. But my opinion and my experience, and I can't speak for all journalists, but a lot of journalists really love it when I cover their stories because I credit them properly and I show their work on screen, particularly on YouTube and TikTok, and it gets their work out further than their kind of news media organization. The people who don't like me are the editors and the owners of those news media. Did you know that in a PowerPoint document a couple of years ago, I was told this and I wasn't supposed to know this, but in an internal PowerPoint document of a major news media company, they were going through the business side of the operation, and there was a PowerPoint slide and it just said threats, and it just had a picture of me.
And, you're a threat.
And
like
I found out about that, and I had to laugh because my response was, you should do what the Americans are doing, which is hire content creators to maximize your newsroom's journalist work for your platform. Don't make the journalists be content creators. Not all of them are as talented, multi-talented as Khomotso is. No disrespect. But they should be doing the beat and doing the work and figuring out the stories. You should hire content creators in-house to create the best video version of their articles for your TikTok channel. So that you can benefit. And this is not radical. This is already happening. Washington Post was one of the first to do it. New York Times does it. CNN does it.
Reuters is doing it now.
Reuters is doing it. That's the future. Not quietly trying to rage against me because my coverage of your story, which I credit to you with, got 1 million views, whereas 5,000 people read your article because your editor is screwing up your distribution.
Yeah, I'll get Amahle in after the break. It's 26 after 10.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
We've seen a number of these witnesses who have come forward on their own version, Sandile Swan. They are okay with funds being received, whether the people were questionable or not. Funds for such, trivialities. Why would the cop in charge of organized crime be buying sneakers from Gucci?
We've reached a stage where you cannot distinguish between a thug, a gang leader, a mafia, and a police officer in South Africa today. The whole thing is a mishmash. You cannot tell who's who in the zoo anymore.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of. and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
When you buy a quality pre-owned car from Motor Select, you know it's in good condition with full service history and has some cool features. Buy yours from now until this Saturday and you'll also get something extra, like up to 70,000 Rand cash back. So don't just buy a car, buy one that gives you something extra. Get to any participating Motor Select or visit motorselect.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Some moments are personal. Some spaces are professional. All of them deserve care. At Frond and Filigree, we create handcrafted floral experiences for life's meaningful moments and the places where they happen. From birthdays and anniversaries to hotels, offices and events, our bespoke arrangements are designed with artistry and intention. Because when flowers are done right, they elevate every moment. Visit frondandfiligree.co.za.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
When you choose local, you're not buying a product. You are backing a dream, supporting a business and helping create jobs right here in SA. That's what the Buy Local Summit and Expo is all about. Catch this show live from the summit on Tuesday, the 17th of March, as we bring you highlights, live updates, and more from the Sandton Convention Centre. Discover why localization is critical to South Africa's economic future. Brought to you by Proudly South African on 702. 10:30, time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines, and then we're going to continue our conversation with Komoto, Dan, and Amahle after the latest. Sriso, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. NERSA has announced new deadlines for municipalities to submit their electricity tariff applications for the 2026-27 financial year. The regulator says municipal electricity distributors must submit their tariff applications by the end of March, following a recent High Court ruling that adjusted the timelines. The Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment Department has confirmed the interception of 4 Chinese-flagged fishing vessels that entered the country's waters without authorization. The 4 vessels were blocked by SAPS's technical team and fishery control officers after crossing into South Africa's exclusive economic zone. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in France for talks with President Emmanuel Macron on ramping up pressure on Russia. The visit comes as talks brokered between Kyiv and Moscow by the US to end the 4-year invasion have been derailed by the US-Israeli war in Iran. The two leaders are expected to meet in the afternoon and hold a press conference on Zelensky's 12th visit to France since the war began. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling on the N3 North, we've got some issues reported. This is between Marlborough Drive and the Plea interchange. Roadworks are taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic in Melrose. This is along the Marquand North approaching Corlett Drive. While traveling in Bedfordview, queuing traffic on the N3 North just as you approach the Giluli's interchange. An accident is reported there. Delays coming out of Van Buren Road. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
10:31 on our Across the Desk feature this morning. I'm hosting Current Affairs TikTokers. Are you one of those who often rely on some of the videos they put up on TikTok, on YouTube, on some of their social media platforms where they just make the news, politics, policy digestible? It's more palatable. It's in I mean, their attention span, people don't really have 30 minutes to just sit there and watch the news anymore. Like, they really want to get something that is a minute or so, but that still gives them the necessary context. We've got Khomotso Modise in studio with us, Dan Koda and Amahle Tshaka. Amahle, I want to bring you in here. What kind of engagement do you often see from your followers when you're discussing these serious topics like politics, policy, governance? Do people actually engage, and what kind of engagements do you pick up?
Yeah, there's a lot of engagement, and there's a lot of people who have found almost like a home, not only on my pages, but I think on Dan and Khomotso's pages as well. And there's a lot of, for example, I get a lot of, I've been waiting for you to break this down. And sometimes I feel bad, like, am I also causing attention spans to not be there because I've taken this thing and I've simplified it? There's a lot of, I finally know what I can say to my boss, or I can finally have a conversation at work. And I think that's primarily what we do. And just to touch on what you guys were saying earlier on before we went to break, I don't do breaking news because I fear misinformation and disinformation. And so unlike Khomotso, who I think is very adept at breaking the news, I now take what traditional media has done and I sift through all different formats. TV, I listen to your show, for example, and then I compile like a 10-minute video on all that I've heard. So there's a lot of people who I think felt left out of the conversation in terms of my engagement, who now believe they can be equipped to have these important conversations about voting, about Iran, about the commission, for example.
Yeah. Let's go to some WhatsApps coming through on 072-702-1702. I'll bring your calls as well on 011-883-0702.
I think with me, there's two people who I usually follow to get summaries of whatever is going on. And one of them is Thabo from 5FM. And one of them is Khomotso Modise from Prime Media. And usually we are so busy that we do not have time to get more information on what is really happening on specific headlines or topics. And they summarize, especially Khomotso, when it comes to the news. She summarizes so much that I really don't need to go to a specific website in order for me to read to the whole story and understand what is going on. So I love that Khomotso would summarize in maybe a 1 minute or a 2-minute video, and I'll understand what is going on.
Oh my God, Clem, you have three of my favorite. If I'm looking for news update on TikTok and I haven't been home the whole day to watch everything and all of that, those are my three favorite. Khomotso, Dan, and How's It, Amahle. I love her intro. I love all three of them. They do great work. Yeah, keep it up, guys.
Do you guys actually intentionally work on the intros to be catchy? Let me start with you, Amahle, because you are that How's It lady. Everybody knows you like that. When I told Mongani you're coming, Mongani actually repeated what you always say, Khomotso.
If you follow me, you know I cover.
So, Amahle, were you intentional about that? Or was it just, this is how I'm going to start it, and then it caught?
No, they scream at me in traffic. They scream "How's it" for me, and they scare me all the time. And it was not intentional at all. It's how my friends and I greet each other.
Yeah.
So much so now me and my friends have to find another greeting. It's just, I don't know. How's it has always been something we've always said, just like how's it, how are you? And so it wasn't intentional at all. It was just me being a South African. We know South Africans love to greet. You cannot get anything done in South Africa if you don't start with a greeting. So that was kind of like the intention, that I'm just going to start the video every day by greeting. But the how's it just took a life of its own. It was never intentional that where I was deliberate, like this is going to be my intro.
I say how's it with you, Jax, actually. I'm just like, how's it, right? No, it was very intentional for me, and it was because I wanted people to know what I do and why I'm here.
And follow.
Yes.
What do you say?
Follow, you must follow. So yes, it was. This is hi. This is who I am. This is what I do, and remember to follow. It was very intentional for me, and yeah, now I say it without thinking about it.
Yeah. Do you find that you've built like communities on these platforms? Then like there's because that's how we feel on radio. You would know this as someone
Recording
who does radio
stopped.
yourself. You would know that when you do this, you know the people who listen to you, that you talk to every day, they become family to you.
Yeah, it's funny.
Is it like that?
If I could just mention a WhatsApp that I just got from my own brother, James, who's my collaborator on our YouTube podcast show. He says, "Why are you interrupting my Clement time?" Which shows how you've built community. Absolutely. So, for example, just to tap onto what you guys were saying, me starting every one of my podcasts with "Settle Down, Brother" happened to me. It was not a choice or intentional at all. After that infamous Piers Morgan appearance, when I did not remember that I said that, and the interview happened on a Monday and it came out on a Thursday, and then I kept getting tagged and this phrase on Twitter and it went viral for a few weeks or whatever. I had to go and look it up, and then people just demanded on our WhatsApp line in our comment sections that become a hallmark phrase at the top of the show. And that's a perfect reflection of like how you can build community. So Clement, you will know this, Khomotso, you will know this. Like I take a radio community building approach to the podcast because podcast is just radio on demand. It's as simple as that. And so we have a WhatsApp line. We broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We feature people's comments from the previous day. We try to have conversations that last days, if not weeks. We try to use personality to be normal people. That's why we tell our jokes and have some fun and are silly and are self-deprecating. And that is how you build community. Jax does exactly the same thing, Amatle, in her comment sections. And what Amatle is doing, by the way, is extraordinary. Because on a social media platform, like I use jokes to get people to keep watching. Amatle uses deeply reasoned, thought out, almost like TED Talk University lectures that she's built, but she's making them successful on a social media platform that prioritizes, if you make a video longer than 2 minutes, it had better be jaw-droppingly good. And Amatle is making 8 to 9 minute videos that are getting enormous and extraordinary views. So Amatle has actually managed to break through the wiring of TikTok for her success. Jax, I know I'm just gassing you up now, but we've done radio before together. So like you know how I feel about you. Like it's all good. But like what Amatle has been able to pull off on a platform which actively penalizes long form video is absolutely outrageous.
By the way, speaking of your WhatsApp, Shingi on WhatsApp line says, "Hi Clement, I also love what Dan has done with his WhatsApps. I get immediate notifications of his latest content."
Yes.
And then the question is, does Khomotso and Amatle have that too? Do you guys do you have notifications?
Oh, sorry. So just to let you know, we have a WhatsApp channel. So you can text our WhatsApp line, but you can also join our WhatsApp channel, and then we will post on there when we have live event tickets, when we have merchandise for sale, and when we have new shows.
Okay, so maybe you guys should do that as well. So
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah. How long does it take you guys, Amatle and Khomotso, to put together those videos? Because sure, I mean, you, as Amatle, you said you listen to radio, you get but do you actually script it and edit it? How much time does it take you to really put up that 8-minute?
So I would say it takes like 4 to 5 hours the morning, right? So it would start with, when I'm going to gym, I'm listening to 7 and 2 and radio. And then I come back and I watch TV in the background. And then I read all these different articles. And then I do script it, but I don't edit. So I do everything in one take because I want it to be as authentic as possible. So if I'm making a mistake in the video, I also correct myself in the video. And so it's a whole morning process. And then I will shoot the video, that 8 to 10 minute video, and then post, and then just add subtitles, because I've noticed that people on TikTok want subtitles. And so, it takes about a working day, essentially. And that's why I can't do breaking news, because I'm finicky about detail and making sure I get different perspectives.
Yeah, very similar. But yes, I do a lot more breaking news, so it wouldn't take as long. I also have a cheat code. I have a current affairs junkie husband who is who switched on.
I need one of those.
That's like a handicap in golf.
So he is always switched on. And I mean, we speak about the Mazanga Commission and ad hoc and how it's so hard to keep tabs on both. I keep tabs through him as well. And he'll say, oh, listen, this just happened. We need to check it out. Okay.
Yeah, you need to do a video about that.
Yeah, no. And he'll say, listen, they said this. Remember what they said yesterday? Yeah, we need to put this in context. Yes, we need to do that. So that is my cheat code. But yes, there is scripting for me as well. There's a lot of reading that goes into it. And, I wanted to say earlier, when Dan is sitting there circling articles, I'm sure it's not one article, right? It's articles from a number of news sources. You're sitting there comparing what would naturally happen with stories. You see it all the time with the Sunday papers, where they might run the same story, but there's different information in the stories, right? So you're sitting there really juxtaposing. You're sitting there comparing, and then thinking of how to package this in a way that is palatable, in a way that resonates, in a way that speaks to the people, and they'll understand. And sometimes it's stories that are investigations, right? That need you also. I mean, I found myself educating myself a lot about things I know nothing about, because yes, contrary to popular belief, journalists don't know everything about everything. We are learning. A lot of what we're doing is learning systems, how companies run. So a lot of it is reading for me, and a lot of it is writing things down. And I find when I write things down, I find out and I get to know how much I know about the story and what more I need to learn.
All right, I've got some questions coming from some of our listeners on 072 702 1702. We'll get to your WhatsApps and calls after the break. It's 17 before 11.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Deputy Minister of Defence, General Bantu Holomisa, the legal basis of the deployment of the SANDF, was it formally authorized?
The Speaker of Parliament was informed by the President in writing. So I'll leave it there. It's her office which can answer that question. Next.
Hi, Mandy. How did you remain that calm after being told next?
I love Bantu Holomisa when he's like that. It's my best.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Why speed through a midlife crisis on a superbike when you can get an SUV that gives you the same thrill and so much more? Don't settle. Get the Haval H7 from only $7,699 per month that gives you 170 kilowatts of do whatever you like. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct to give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 15 minutes before 11 o'clock. I'm hosting Current Affairs TikTokers on our Across the Desk feature. These are people who will do videos to tell you what's happening in the news, but they make it digestible, they make it palatable, and people like Dan Cotter will make it funny in the process as well. Do you follow them on Instagram, on TikTok, and what do you like about that short form sort of news pockets of information? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. I've got a few questions coming from our listeners, and one of them was, when Amahle said 5 hours, like a tweet came in and said, that sounds like a 95. Do they get paid for it? Is there money on this platform? Amahle,
No.
Bidi.
No, but I understand that I now leverage myself and my brand to get other work. So I've done a separation of church and state, where my Instagram is a lot of brand work, where I'm working with different companies to influence and content create. And then my TikTok is where my current affairs is. And so I understand that I don't get that brand work without having the platform that I have. So that's kind of how how I'm essentially making an income. But no, TikTok is it's not paying us yet, I hope.
Yep, same, exactly the same. I mean, I've been getting a lot more speaking engagements through what I do on the platform. So that's really my way of leveraging and how I monetize it. But TikTok itself and Instagram really doesn't pay us for this.
Yeah, whereas YouTube does. And they pay an iota, to use a old and ancient word that my dad loves to use, a tiny portion of what they pay to American creators or British creators, because they create a proportional percentage. What percentage of ad revenue total from your videos goes to you versus them, but they don't adjust for currency value, and then they pay you in rands. So it's tiny. But I take the approach, and when I used to be on the radio on Good FM and 5FM and Cape Talk and that, because I developed this kind of like comedic as well as informative reputation, it's allowed me to get brand deals. But my model is now just a radio model. So I now sell advertising campaigns on my podcast, for example, that can run a number of weeks, just like I would on a TV station or a radio station.
Yeah, something else that's been really great for me on those platforms is the training that I've been doing. A lot of digital content training, people that are interested in how you do it, how are you able to process all of this information and tell these stories so effectively. So that's another way of monetizing. It's always so interesting for me to hear people saying, oh, don't you want to come and share your thoughts on matters? I mean, I've been a journalist for 10 years. I've had thoughts all my life, right? But now, because I'm on TikTok, right, sharing my thoughts, and there's this interest in, don't you want to come and speak about this? Don't you want to share this?
Do you remember the conversations we've had probably like 2 years ago next to the lift where you asked me,
yes, about
how do I
do this?
Do the speaking
yes,
stuff? I mean, look at you now.
It's also crazy how quickly we've had to learn how to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So I have a company. I have 2 full-time staff. They make no money but the money I pay them, like their rent and their mortgage and their and then I've got 1 part-time staff and they work and I have to pay their salaries every month. And it completely changes my relationship with money that I'm responsible for staff.
Here's a question as well from one of our listeners. What has been the most surprising reaction you've received to your online commentary so far? And what's that one video that really went crazy? That got I don't know, 300,000 views or a million or whatever.
Like 2 million.
What?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
No, I think so I had one that I made about I think it was about the currency manipulation, I think.
Oh.
Yes. So that blew up on Instagram a lot. And that's because the Constitutional Court case was going on for days. And I happened to be covering it already. So I was sitting in court all day and I was able to put that together and put it in a video. And people were like, thank you so much. I've been wondering what's going on. And I just haven't been able to figure it out, even though I've read so much about it.
It's such a complex story.
It is a complex story and it's been going on quite literally for more than a decade. So people appreciated that. That's a big one. The Madlanga content always does amazing. But I'll tell you, I was at the mall a few weeks ago and I'd done a video about Gwedemandashe's comments, about employment, right? And quite frankly, I put on a bit of a Dan on that one because I went beyond telling you the facts in that one. And I really did weigh in and because I was actually a little upset. I'm still very upset about that. And it came through on the TikTok, and I actually remember having the conversation with my husband about it. And he was like, "Are you sure you want to speak?" And I said, "You know what? This is actually what I want to go here because I feel so strongly about this." And there's a lady who bumped into me at the mall, and we stood there for 35 minutes where she was ranting and raving and telling me why everything I said is exactly how she feels about the situation. So there's the impact that you see online. That video also really did well. But then there's the people that will stop you at the shopping center, in the queue at the till, and want to have the conversation. And I think that's really heartwarming for me.
Yeah, Dan and Namahle, you'll tell me about the videos that have also gotten the most views after the break. It's 9 minutes before 11.
When you buy a quality pre-owned car from Motor Select, you know it's in good condition with full service history and has some cool features. Buy yours from now until this Saturday and you'll also get something extra, like up to 70,000 Rand cash back. So don't just buy a car, buy one that gives you something extra. Get to any participating Motor Select or visit motorselect.co.za. T's and C's apply.
Celebrate the power of African storytelling. Join Freedom Park in collaboration with the South African State Theatre for the 13th Ungasali Storytelling Festival on the 14th of March 2026 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. Experience powerful performances through poetry, theatre, music, and traditional storytelling as we celebrate the voices and stories that shape our heritage. Tickets are available at web tickets for 150 Rand. The Ungasali Storytelling Festival, where African stories come alive. Don't miss it.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
7 minutes before 11 o'clock. All right, let's go to you first, Amahle. What's the one video that you remember went crazy on social media?
So I think the one that has the highest views, which is 1.6 million, is the video where I was explaining General Mkwanazi's press conference. And I had done it in a split as if he was this movie, like a blockbuster. So I was like, he's number one on the call sheet. And I'd basically broken it down like that.
Yeah.
But more recently, before I became popular, I had done a warning to Cape Town residents in 2024 about how, the international immigrants who were living in Cape Town illegally were going to cause a rental crisis. And I was warning, I was warning white South Africans that they needed to do something about it. And recently, another video about this girl was saying that she's now homeless. Oh, she's struggling to find a home, and lots of people were tagging me. And so I had a little bit of an I told you so moment that 2 years ago, I told you this would happen if you guys did not lobby your government to introduce rent controls or whatever. And so I think that one has been the most recent one. And it was a very short 2-minute video of me just laughing and saying, I told you guys this would happen.
Yeah.
But I think the General Mkwanazi one is my most viewed because it quite literally, I think that is the biggest story we've had in the country for the last 5 years, since state capture, I think.
Listen, it is indeed. Dan?
Okay, so a couple. So the obvious one is just the Piers Morgan feature. And I think that was quite simply because South Africans are the most fearsomely patriotic people on earth if you touch us on our studio from beyond the borders.
Yeah.
So it's very much no, there's problems in our house, but if you're not part of our house, don't you dare talk on our problems. And there was a lot of country duty. You've seen that country duty energy. Thank you, Dan, for fighting for the truth about the country or whatever. When I guess I was kind of doing that, but I was also just equally outraged by the lies and the disinformation that were peddled to even cause that interview and that kind of broadcast to happen at all. And I think South Africans also have a pretty classic middle country mentality that when the great powers look at us and give us attention, like Piers Morgan, the most influential and famous conflict entertainer in modern history, we all turn up in the same way as when Tyler wins a Grammy or the Springboks win a Rugby World Cup or something like that. And so that went very, very, very far. The most surprising comment that I get often, Clement, you asked this earlier, is Black South Africans going, oh, your brethren are going to come for you over this. There's this mentality that oh, you're white, you're supposed to fight for the white team. There are still teams. And to be fair, all the death threats I've ever got have been from white people. But there's this odd kind of how dare you suggest any idea that is not in the interests of broadly wealthier, paler people, or exposes the serious immoral history of the wealth and privilege of historically paler people. And I've always found that fascinating, is in like white people will be like, oh, you're just trying, in exactly this accent, you're just trying to like, you and the black people, like you just love saying what they like and you're just arguing nonsense, but they like it because you want to be popular with the black people, and maybe you like find black people attractive sexually. And I'm like, well, Clement, my man. And I'm not saying that this is all white people, but there is a rot online of vile, filthy, racist whiteness. And funnily enough, I realized this. I made a documentary in 2014 called Leicester, which was about racism and language exclusion at Stellenbosch University. And that's when I first got death threats. And I realized that the greatest threat to a racist white supremacist or a misogynist is not the opposition. It's the people within your camp who are disagreeing with you. So for a vile misogynist, I'm sure we've all about to watch Inside the Manosphere or have already watched it, Louis Theroux's new documentary. What's really threatening is not women saying that's disgusting. It's men saying that's disgusting, because that means that men could influence other men to disagree with you, a man. And similarly with white supremacy, the most dangerous thing to a white supremacist is not a black person disagreeing with them. It's a white person saying, no, because it's more likely white people will listen to a white person in the same way it's more likely men will listen to a man.
Yeah. How do you find you guys on the socials, Khomotso?
All right, so at Motso underscore at Motso underscore
What,
Modise.
Khomotso was already taken?
Clement, you know, a lot of people call me Motso.
Really?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Why do you find
I
that
didn't know
surprising?
I didn't.
Yes. So at Motso underscore Modise, that's on Twitter. What's it called now? X, right?
No, it's not. We own that. It's a community-owned platform. It does not matter who bought it. It's Twitter.
Khomotso Modise underscore ZA. That is, I know you're going to troll me for that also, Clement. Khomotso Modise underscore ZA. Okay, that is on Instagram. Yes, that's my Instagram. And I'm always getting my TikTok wrong. So I'm going to open it now and read it to you. At Motso underscore Abby. So Abby with an IE, 0. Don't ask me questions.
Okay, Amashle, how about you?
I am Jax of all trades underscore SA. So that's JAXX of all trades underscore SA on TikTok and on Instagram. I don't have Twitter anymore. It's too toxic for my own good.
I'm about to follow you, sister. Dan, how about you?
At Dan Corder on air everywhere except TikTok, where it's at Dan Corder, and you can find our podcasts on the Three Beanies Network on YouTube.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much, and thank you for the incredible work that you do. It's a minute before 11.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mzansi, get ready for millions pouring down this Friday. Powerball and Powerball Plus are bringing a massive 135 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots. Make it rain lots of cash this March by playing Powerball for 93 million rand and Powerball Plus for 42 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, Play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Why argue with your teenage know-it-all when you can feel more in control? Get the Haval H6 from only $6,299 per month with intelligent voice command technology that does not backchat. Perfect. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
The beeping machines, the hospital smells, the moments of fear. And all that remains is what matters most.
Dad's home!
Because recovery isn't about the procedure or the paperwork. It's about getting back to the people and places that matter to you. Bonitas, Medical Aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the 2nd year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. NERSA has announced new deadlines for municipalities to submit their electricity tariff applications for the 2026-27 financial year. The energy regulator says the applications must be submitted by the end of March, following a recent High Court ruling that adjusted the timelines. This comes after NERSA approved Eskom's retail tariff and structural adjustment application, which allows for a 9.1% tariff increase from the 1st of July this year. Mongezi Koko takes a look.
The regulator says the public participation process on municipal electricity tariff applications will run until the 21st of April, with final decisions expected by the 11th of May. This is meant to allow municipalities to implement approved tariffs at the start of the new municipal financial year in July. NERSA says municipalities must also ensure their applications meet governance requirements. NERSA spokesperson Charles Hlebela.
Failure to meet the revised timelines may affect the processing and approval of the municipal electricity tariff applications. Municipalities that require deviations from the revised timelines may apply to the High Court for relief.
NERSA says the tariff applications will be published on its website to allow the public to submit written comments before final decisions. Mungi Ziko Go. Eyewitness News.
The Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment Department has confirmed the interception of 4 Chinese flagged fishing vessels that entered the country's waters without authorization. The vessels were blocked by SAPS's technical team and fishery control officers after crossing into South Africa's exclusive economic zone and territorial waters last month without the required clearance. Carlo Peterson reports.
DFFE spokesperson Zolile Nkai says the vessels initially requested permission to pass through South African waters under innocent passage. Authorities kept the vessels under guard at the port of Cape Town anchorage, where compliance checks were carried out.
The masters of these vessels were charged and administration penalty of 400,000 was imposed. The vessel owner subsequently paid the fine, after which the vessels were released and have since departed South African waters.
Minister Willie Oukamp says the department is committed to protecting the country's marine resources and will not tolerate unlawful activity in its waters. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
Cape Town has been rocked by yet another deadly mass shooting, this time in Bishop Levis. Police say 3 men were killed and 4 others wounded last night. The attack is believed to be gang-related. Ntutu Zelonene has more.
The Western Cape's anti-gang unit has been assigned the case after a group of 7 men were targeted in a gun attack in Kalksteenfontein last night. Police say the men were sitting outside drinking when a vehicle pulled up nearby. 3 armed suspects allegedly got out of the car and randomly opened fire on the group before fleeing the scene in the same vehicle. Police spokesperson Novela Potelwa says the deployment of law enforcers has been bolstered in Bishop Levis and surrounds following the attack. It's the 7th mass shooting reported in Cape Town since Saturday. At least 20 fatalities have been recorded in separate shooting incidents this week. Dutuzalonene, Eyewitness News.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in France for talks with President Emmanuel Macron on ramping up pressure on Russia. The visit comes as talks brokered between Kyiv and Moscow by the US to end the 4-year invasion have been derailed by the US-Israeli war with Iran. The two leaders are expected to meet in the afternoon and hold a press conference on Zelensky's 12th visit to France since the war started. The Kremlin said earlier this week that the planned meeting would obstruct the peace process and that the very idea of trying to put pressure on Russia is absurd. The talks between Macron and Zelensky will focus on increasing sanctions pressure on Russia by targeting its shadow fleets of tankers used to transport oil in breach of sanctions imposed over the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump said this week that some oil sanctions would be lifted as part of attempts to keep the international oil prices down.
So we have sanctions on some countries. We're going to take those sanctions off till this straightens out. Then who knows, maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. We want to keep it that way as we continue Operation Epic Fury.
Gold is trading at $5,190.50 an ounce. The rand is at 16.85 to the dollar, 22.43 to the pound, 19.35 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $100.43 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident reported on the M2 West. It's right near Heidelberg Road. It's causing heavy delays. There's also an accident seen on the N3 North in the Bedford View area. Delays between Van Buren Road and the Kidulis interchange.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, energy regulator NERSA has announced new deadlines for municipalities to submit their electricity tariff applications for the 2026-27 financial year.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Six minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome. This is the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. It's time for adult radio, so kids are not allowed for this conversation. It's our relationship and sex feature.
Relationship issues
Relationship talk.
on 702.
So on our relationship and sex feature this morning, we are discussing scheduled sex in long-term relationships. Because, my friends, for many couples, as you may very well know, the early stages of relationship are filled with spontaneity and excitement, right? You've experienced that before when you've met someone and the sex happens every day, it happens every week, it happens every second day. But as relationships grow, the dynamics also change, right? Life trends change. You tend to be maybe busier, there's work pressures, you've got children in the house, there's financial stress, just the daily responsibilities that can often push intimacy further down the priority list. I mean, some relationship experts will tell you that one solution that couples are turning to now is scheduled sex. So instead of waiting for intimacy to happen spontaneously, you intentionally set aside time for it in the same way that you would plan for a dinner date or for an important meeting. And for some people, that idea feels unromantic and even too mechanical. But other people argue that scheduling intimacy can actually strengthen your connection with your partner. It can improve communication. It can help you as a couple prioritize that relationship. And I'd like to know from you if you schedule sex in your relationship, in your marriage. Do you schedule it? Do you schedule intimacy? Do you actually say to your partner, your spouse, that on that Friday, it's going down? Or every second week, it's going down. We have to be intimate. We have to do it. Give us a call on 011-883-0702 or WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. How do you go about dealing with the changes that come with your intimacy with your partner as a result of just lifing, if there's such a term, right? You are older, you've got stress, you've got children around the house. So the dynamics influence just the level of intimacy and connection you have with your partner. How do you manage that? 011-883-0702. Send your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Lisa Welsh is a sex educator who is going to guide us through this conversation. Lisa, thank you so much for making time. Great to chat to you again. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. It is great to chat with you as well. And what an interesting topic. I can't wait to hear what people think about this one.
Yeah, same here. But I also want to hear from you how do you define scheduled sex? Because when you mention this phrase, a lot of people react with surprise. Like, what exactly does that mean in the context of relationship coaching?
Yeah, good question. So I would argue that it's quite a romantic thing to do because think about it. If we think about what is romantic, it is somebody thinking about you, anticipating time with you, planning time together, giving you like prioritized connection time. That's essentially what we're doing. We're not saying at 8 p.m. we are stripping off and getting it on, no excuses. It's not that. It is just creating space in our busy schedules. Like you said, we're busy, we've got kids, we've got jobs, we've got so many priorities that it is like an important meeting. Surely your connection time with your partner is as important as your meeting with your boss or your meeting with your client. So it's putting it in the calendar, putting fun and connection time in the calendar so that intimacy doesn't just get bumped off to next week, next week, next week, next week. That's how I would define it.
All right. So it's not like, okay, 8 o'clock on Thursday evening, this is what we're doing. Take off your clothes. And it's more intimacy, and it doesn't have to be penetration. It could be other ways that you just intimately connect with your partner.
Exactly. That is exactly it. And that can look different for everybody because we don't know how we're going to feel on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Right? Life does happen. Life, like you said. And maybe we won't feel like penetration, but maybe we will feel like spooning or massaging or watching a movie together. There are so many different ways we could spend this time. So scheduling sex, yes, but really we're scheduling connection time because sex can have a broad definition. So really it's connection and play. I like to have play in there as well.
Okay. Let's also understand something before we even hear from the listeners if they schedule sex or intimacy with their partners. Why is it, Lisa, that many couples in long-term relationships struggle to maintain intimacy over time? Because in the beginning, it's all exciting. Sex sometimes happens twice a day, sometimes every second day, because, the adrenaline is high. We're so excited about each other. But the longer the relationship goes and over time, that intimacy starts to wane.
Yeah, this is not a sign that the relationship is failing. It's really normal, very common. If you think about it, in those early days, the endorphins and the hormones are going wild. We're very excited. We usually don't have as many commitments to juggle. That's true. And sex is more of a priority. It's really important to us at that stage when we're brand new and we're so excited about one another. So it feels like we're not scheduling it, but it just is high priority. So we are scheduling it. We are planning for it. Maybe the logistics are not so difficult. There are not children necessarily to organize. And maybe, we have to plan to meet up somewhere because we're not living together. So then we make sure we have on the lingerie and the nails are painted and the hair's done, right? So we're planning ahead, even though it feels so spontaneous. Actually, we just are highly motivated to do it in those early stages. So just because that seems to wane, it doesn't mean that there's a problem in the relationship. It is just life. There are other commitments. It is less novel and exciting because as we kind of get used to one another, we know what to expect. It's easy to make an excuse. It's easy to push it back a day or 4 or 10. And we don't often put in the same amount of effort. So then it's easy to just let it go, especially if sex has become boring or mundane or we're following the same kind of structure every single time. Then it's not so like, oh, I've got to try this, or what are they going to do? Or I can't wait to see how they like this new thing I try, or, so we're not putting in as much effort as well often. And so it just becomes, something that we get to one day. We know we'll eventually do it.
Yeah.
But it's not such a priority.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people listening to us now, Lisa, and they're thinking, but scheduling intimacy actually sounds quite unromantic. There's something exciting about intimacy or sex being spontaneous. So how do you respond to that? So can planning time together actually increase desire or anticipation between partners, or to other people, does it just go, oh, God, it's that Thursday, now we have to do this or be this way?
So it's brilliant that you're asking that because, some people do think it's so unsexy and they think that there's nothing they'd like rather do less than just this date, this time. So, but what I would argue is that yes, it can be romantic and it can be fun and it can really be a huge benefit because it removes, number one, that pressure and rejection if there's one person always initiating. I'm sure a lot of the listeners can resonate with this. There's usually one person who's always the one to say, hey, can we like get it on tonight? And there's often one saying, no, not today, right? And that is a lot of pressure, and that rejection can cause resentment. It can actually cause a bit of difficulties in long-term relationships, and especially when there's a desire discrepancy. This is a way around that because nobody has to initiate. You've got a planned time when you're going to connect, and then you take off the pressure of that connection having to be intercourse. So it just means that both people are prioritizing a space in the calendar to be together. So there's less chasing and rejecting, and there's less, dreading, emotional tension and all of that. But it can also increase desire by building anticipation. It's something to look forward to. It's exciting. Maybe you will dig out the underwear from the back of the cupboard, Maybe you will try that new toy you've been thinking of, or that bottle of lube, or, you've got something to plan for. So you're not just falling into the typical structure of, kissing, a bit of fondling, and it kind of follows the same thing. It gives you something to look forward to as well.
Yeah. Do you think part of the problem is maybe like how sex and intimacy has been portrayed in media? Because, in the movies that we have always watched, it's never scheduled. Like, it's spontaneous, which always looks interesting. Like, woman comes back from work, and then husband comes out, welcomes her, and then they get it on. Or someone comes to see you at the office, and like there are these kind of impressions that sort of the media in the film even like have always portrayed in the drama series. And I wonder if that's part of what has built our expectations. That's why we don't think that actually, in fact, a friend of mine, when I was doing prep, said to me, that's maintenance sex. And I thought, do you have to call it that? But it is actually maintenance sex. When you're scheduling it, you realize that this is something that still builds this relationship. It's how you actually maintain the relationship, as uncomfortable as that term may be.
Yeah, I mean, so yes, you're right. I mean, if we could all go and live in a Hollywood movie, that would be great. We would never have to discuss things like contraception, like they never talk about that. They just look at each other. There's no consent conversation. They just suddenly both want it at the exact same moment, and they're ripping each other's clothes off, and it's great. No child walks in, no one's granny is in the other room. Like, it's just not real. In reality, it's not always easy to find privacy. It's not always easy to find times when our menstrual cycle is in the right place where we want to have sex, or, there's no work stress looming on the horizon. So yes, in a way, your colleague is right. It is maintenance sex. And there's nothing wrong with that, because by having this maintenance sex, whatever that looks like, it actually allows you to build the comfort levels with one another that could lead to more spontaneous sex. Because the more couples actually cross that bridge and don't leave that tension, that emotional divide, that kind of unspoken like awkwardness, right? When people start to move towards what might be considered a sexless marriage, when they've gone a very long time without having any intimate moments together, it can be very awkward to reach out again. Like, there's so much fear, and, especially our bodies are changing, we're aging, and, illnesses happen. All of these different things happen to us, and we worry. And we're all insecure. Nearly all of us in this planet are insecure about how we perform in bed. We want to be good at sex. And so if we wait for months or weeks or days, we might feel like we're getting rusty, and then that becomes even more difficult. So maintenance sex has a place, right? You're keeping that connection, you're maintaining that, time together naked, even if that's what it is. That touch, that intimacy, that closeness, that bond can then grow, because from there, not only the act itself, but the conversations that arise from that can help to make your sex life better in the long term. You can learn, what did you enjoy, what didn't work, what else would you like to try, what can we bring in to really heighten this experience. So yeah, maintenance sex is important.
Yeah, I like what you say. Spend time together naked. I mean, you may think that's weird, but Maybe that's what actually brings you guys together. Just chill there, naked, fully, and just embrace each other. Something you can.
Yeah.
How's the weather today? Actually, the weather agrees. Do that with your partner when you get home later today. How about that? Yeah? Watch a movie and be fully naked. You don't have to overthink it. Just be fully naked and watch a movie and be warm. Here's an idea for a Friday
Oh, I
night.
love it.
011-883-0702. After the break, I'm going to go to your calls and your WhatsApps. Have you gone a long time without sex with your spouse, with your partner? How have you navigated that? And have you ever considered maintenance sex? Have you ever considered scheduled sex? Huh? Have you done it? And if you don't think it would work for you, let me know why you think this is probably not something that would work on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 0727021702. It's 21 after 11.
The Vodacom United Rugby Championship is one of the hottest tournaments on the planet. Hollywood Bets adds spice with an epic competition in which 400,000 Rand in cash, prizes and betting vouchers must be won. Prizes include a Vodacom URC VIP experience and a glamorous Table Mountain adventure. To enter, simply bet 30 Rand or more on any Vodacom URC fixture between 23 January and 16 May. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Why get a workhorse that makes you do all the work when you can get so much more? Don't settle. Get the GWM P300 from only 5,672 per month with a 2.4-liter turbo diesel automatic that delivers on work, play, and life. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
When you choose local, you're not just buying a product, you're actually backing a dream. You're supporting a business and helping create jobs right here in South Africa. That's what the Buy Local Summit and Expo is all about. Catch this show live from the summit on Tuesday, the 17th of March, as we bring you highlights, live updates, and more from the Sandton Convention Center. Discover why localization is critical to South Africa's economic future. Brought to you by Proudly South African on 702.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
On 702.
24 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's start with your WhatsApp voice notes on 072 702 1702. Some text coming through. This is James on the WhatsApp line says, "Hi Clement, I'm from Lesotho. I think it depends on whether it's a long distance relationship or not. If it is a long distance relationship, then it's a known fact that when we meet, it's going down." Another message says, "Clement, living in a small house with kids is really hard. We would like to watch movies fully naked, but the kids are there. It's really hard." That's a message from Gaylord from Lynn Mayer. Yeah, sure, Gaylord, I appreciate that. But just sometimes maybe send the kids to be with granny or granddad or to be with uncle or auntie. Send them over there to just, even if it's just for a night, they can do a sleepover there. But it's important to be intentional about creating those intimate moments with your partner.
Hi, Clement. Yeah, a very interesting one.
This reminds me of when I was still in college, training as a teacher. That must be about 40 years back because I'm 60 now. I was in my early 20s then. So there was this guy who would always share a joke, one of the naughty ones. So he shared this joke. He said there was this couple who, for some reason, decided that they are going to follow a scheduled pattern for making love. So they decided that they are only going to have sex on days that have an R in their spelling. So which means they're only going to have sex on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So one Monday, the guy was feeling like it. So he was busy touching the lady. And the lady said, no. Remember, love, it's Monday today. We can't do it. And the guy said, no, man, it's Monday.
Just what I added R there.
Yeah.
Clemens, hi. Thank you for a great show as always. I also had an instance where I struggled to be the one asking all the time, and my partner is always saying no. It was for her. It was due to the post-pregnancy, but then we navigated that well. But now my challenge is, this scheduling thing is not for me because it creates an atmosphere of pressure when you feel like you are subjected to performance at that particular juncture, yet maybe you are not really in the very best of space. And I find that some level of being spontaneous is actually very important because now, in the middle of the night, I just want to wake up to someone or thinking it's a dream, but it's actually happening. Someone is on top of me, so being spontaneous is of, I think, great value when it comes to sex.
Yeah. So, and Lisa, I suppose what you were trying to say earlier is, don't think of it as, oh, we have to just take off our clothes and then, there must be penetration. No, think of it as intimacy because then that's more broad. Maybe you guys are just, cuddling on the couch, watching a nice rom-com, So that's so then you are not under pressure, as you said, Lisa, earlier. Life happens. Like I could be stressed on the day, or maybe I'm just not interested. But don't think of it like that. Think of it as just an intimate moment with your partner.
Exactly. And I also wanted to say you're allowed spontaneous sex too. Scheduled sex doesn't mean you're not allowed spontaneous sex. If you want to wake up in the middle of the night, it's okay. You can still do that. But yeah, I understand the feeling of pressure, but then you have to be really open with one another about what you're scheduling. It could be a scheduled date where you go out for dinner, or it could be a cuddling on the couch evening, or it could be getting out the whips and chains. You decide what you're scheduling, or you decide if maybe, we've spoken about this before, but having a menu of options. You could have light intimacy options like cuddling and kissing. You could have something a little bit more intense like touching, caressing, oral, that kind of thing. Or you could have penetration if you wanted as well. You can choose what things are available because you don't want the case where it's really important for somebody that penetration happens sometimes, but the other person is doing everything in their power to avoid that. So you need to try to be really open and fair with one another about this. Like what matters to each of you? What can you be available for? How frequently can you make time for this? I mean, there's no wrong or right answer. And there's no set number of times. I think couples on average have sex about 54 times a year. That's about once a week. So I feel like a once a week connection and playtime is realistic for most people. It may be that you have to bribe the children with a movie or, an iPad, or you have to send them off to somebody, or, there's ways we can be creative. Be creative because you deserve it.
It's 11:30. We'll start with more of your WhatsApps and your calls after the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Mbali, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Energy regulator NERSA has announced new deadlines for municipalities to submit their electricity tariff applications for the 2026-2027 financial year. The regulator says the tariff applications must be submitted by the end of March, following a recent High Court ruling that adjusted the timelines. Trade Union Federation COSATU has thrown its weight behind the National Union of Mine Workers' planned strike against the unbundling of Eskom. The move follows President Cyril Ramaphosa's announcement during his State of the Nation address that the power utility would be restructured. NUM is expected to begin mass action tomorrow, with marches planned in the Free State as well as KwaZulu-Natal. And in the Western Cape, residents in Delft say crime in that area has reached crisis levels after 3 taxi operators were shot and killed by unknown gunmen. The incident has renewed calls for the South African National Defence Force to be deployed to help stabilize communities on the Cape Flats. The army is already operating in parts of Johannesburg under Operation Prosper, which aims to strengthen the police's ability to combat crime in hotspot areas. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Van Buren Road exit and the Kilulis interchange. A major accident seen between these 2 points, causing about a 20-minute hold-up. Please be on the lookout. The N3 South is also backed up as a result of this scene while traveling on the N12 West, queuing traffic between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. If you are heading towards the Joburg CBD, then you might want to avoid the M2 West. An accident right after Heidelberg Road. It's causing heavy delays there as well. And then in the city of Tshwane, we've got some delays on the N14 North approaching Euphus Road. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. And that's your last traffic update from me, Mo Ramela. Otherwise, Karabo Jali will continue walking the talk with you on the traffic desk. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Mzansi, get ready for millions pouring down this Friday. Powerball and Powerball Plus are bringing a massive 135 million rand in total guaranteed jackpots. Make it rain lots of cash this March by playing Powerball for 93 million rand and Powerball Plus for 42 million rand today. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, Play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Vodacom's Red Hot Deals presents 2 iPhone 15 128GB smartphones for just 1,099 per month over 36 months on a 1GB Red Core plan. Plus a Flexi 90 plan on the second device. You save 4,680. Now that's an extraordinary deal. Miss it, miss out. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom. You may regret pulling a muscle while trying to impress that someone at the gym. But with Outsurance Essential Car Insurance, you'll have no regrets covering your older car at a much lower premium. And you get third-party cover up to 1 million rand. Get Outsurance Essential Car Insurance today for unfinanced cars older than 5 years valued at less than 130,000 rand. SMS SAVE to 45363. That's SAVE to 45363. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Looking to upgrade your office furniture this year? Desk and Chair, the direct office furniture manufacturer, has a deal you don't want to miss. Get 5% cash back towards your existing office furniture with all purchases over 350,000 rand. Contact Desk and Chair now for more info. Visit our newly renovated showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better. T's and C's apply.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
On 702.
It's 25 minutes before 12 o'clock. We're having an important conversation on our relationship and sex feature about scheduled sex in long-term relationships. And just a gentle reminder that this is adult radio, so no kids are allowed in this conversation. We're talking about scheduled sex because for many couples, of course, the early stages of a relationship are going to be exciting. You're having sex so ever often, but relationships, as they grow, life tends to get busier. You've got work, stress, you've got children around the house, there are a lot of dynamics that come into the play which can interrupt the intimacy moments with your partner. But then you've got to understand that sex is part of the way you maintain your marriage, part of the way you maintain your relationship. That's why some people call it maintenance sex. And we're speaking to Lisa Welsh, who's our sex educator, about why it's important to schedule sex. And not necessarily that you have to say on a Thursday, then there's going to, at 9 o'clock, you take off your clothes, there's penetration, but just intimacy, whether you're going to be butt naked with your partner and you're watching a nice rom-com and you've sent the kids to be with their grandparents or to go visit their friends for and enjoy a night out with their friends. The point is you are scheduling time to be intimate with your partner. You're scheduling time to connect at an emotional level. Maybe it's date night and you come back and you just watch a beautiful romantic movie. Do you do that? And if you don't, how do you then manage the dynamics that come with life that often interrupt intimacy moments in your relationship or in your marriage? You can give us a call on 011-883-0702, or you can send your WhatsApps on 0727021702. And if you've been in a long-term relationship or marriage and you've had a long time without sex with your partner, how are you navigating that? And is scheduled sex something you would consider? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. I've got some messages that have come through here. Lisa, let me read some of them. One person says, "Hi, Clement. This has actually helped me. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm forever busy and have no time for sex or intimacy until my wife and I started scheduling our intimacy. And we don't just have sex. A lot of the time we have catch-up movies, we play games. We have 3 kids and we put them to bed on time, get a bottle of wine and just have our time." That's it, Lisa. That's exactly what you were talking about.
That's amazing. I love it. Yeah, that's it. As an entrepreneur, you know how important it is to schedule the things that have to get done, the things that are important to you, the things that are building your future, right? And so this is important. Your relationship is essential. And the same way you have business maintenance tasks, there are relationship maintenance tasks. Your marriage or your spouse, your partners, they are important. It's important to us as humans that we have that connection, that touch. If you go as deep as to look at the greatest regrets of the dying, it's often that they worked too much, that they didn't take time for the things that were important. It's so easy in the moment, I'm guilty of it, to put work first, to just try and get this thing finished, to just try and do that, do this, the washing needs doing, the dishes are in the sink, the email needs to be sent. But really, what is important? Sometimes I think we have to get used to the discomfort of allowing ourselves to do the fun things, the touchy-feeling things, the things that feel less important. We have to get used to leaving things undone so that we can do those important things. I'm talking to myself here because it's really hard to close the laptop and walk away sometimes. Whereas your family is there, your partner is there, and they need you and you need them. So, it's just remembering that we're humans, we need touch, we need that connection. And if you are lucky enough to have someone special in your life, then scheduling time with them is really
Recording
worth
stopped.
Yeah. Another one on the WhatsApp line says, "Good day, Clement. I also have tried to schedule sex with my partner, but it didn't work. My husband just wasn't keen on the idea. He thought I was mad." Let's actually address this, Lisa, because there are people that are quite rigid in relationships or marriages where they don't want to try out new things. So, there's a message that came through just as an example from someone on the WhatsApp line who says, "No, Clement, to me, sex is about penetration. After that massage, phakathi." Phakathi in English means inside, meaning it's penetration. So it's like someone,
It's happening.
and this person clearly says that's how they have sex with their partner. They massage each other, and then after that, they just go into penetration. And if a partner then comes up with a new way of doing things and says, "Just romance me, just get me to really be in the mood. Like, tell me when I'm still in the office what you're going to do to me when I get home. And then they think, no, that is weird. How important then is it for couples to just be agile, just be interested to try something that your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner may just want to try? Maybe you don't think it's going to work for you, but be open to the idea.
Yeah, I mean, those are both very real scenarios. So let's just start with the partner who doesn't want to schedule. You don't need to tell your partner that you've scheduled, right? You can make yourself available. Make yourself available like, okay, you know what? Thursday night, I'm going to make sure that I'm ready for intimacy, however that looks, and then just initiate with them, knowing that they could say no and trying to be okay with that. Or you could try and organize a date night. You just organize a date night. You're not saying you're scheduling sex, but this is the time together. Let's go out, let's do something fun, and make sure there's enough time and space around that for intimacy. So those are two ways you can do it. And a lot of people don't like to tell their partner that they're scheduling sex, but at least it helps somebody, especially particularly somebody who's neurodivergent, for example, to be, helping themselves to prepare mentally for intimacy, that they in themselves know, okay, I'm available on this night, and then they will initiate. So it doesn't have to be an agreement necessarily, but that doesn't mean the person has to say yes, but you are creating the time, space, logistics, etc.
Yeah.
So the second caller who was asking, or who was saying that they just like to go to penetration, that's the way they like to do it. Then I want to say everybody's experience and preference is valid, right? We have different sexual blueprints. Some people are more sexual, where they want to get straight down to the act of penetration. Some people are more energetic. Some people are kinky. It's really fun to look at. Go and Google your erotic blueprint, anybody who's curious. Now, if you are somebody who your blueprint is sexual and you want penetration that has to happen in order for you to feel satisfied, then you need to have that conversation with your partner and be open to their blueprint too. It's okay for you to say, this is how I like it. This is how I would like it to happen quite a lot. And then they get to say, okay, well, this is how I like it. And this is how I would like it to happen. I mean, yes, I know it's difficult to hear, I want to try something new, often because we think, well, why? Does that mean I'm not good enough? Does that mean that you have been looking elsewhere? Like, what's going on? Am I not good in bed, right? It often comes back down to that. I'm not good in bed. Don't tell me you want something else other than what I'm giving you, because that makes me feel insecure. So it's looking at that instead of being insecure, seeing that our lives are short. We each have different preferences. We each have different things that we are curious about. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could explore in small ways together that we feel comfortable with? We're not saying override consent, but can we have those conversations where we say what we enjoy together and what we would perhaps like to add? It does bring richness. It keeps novelty. It keeps people interested. It keeps a long-term relationship fresh. So I'm not saying you have to avoid penetration, but if that's how you like it and that's important to you, then you must understand that perhaps there's something that could be important to your partner. So can we be equals in this and allow those kinds of conversations that, yes, they might feel difficult, but if we're big enough to be doing these things, then we're big enough to be having those awkward conversations.
Yeah. How explorative do you think couples have become in recent time when it comes to sex? Because, of course, much of what we do as humans is influenced by the things we've watched, the things we've been told. And I mean, I really did chuckle when I read this message from this anonymous on the WhatsApp line who says, we massage each other and then after that it's penetration. And I'm just thinking, okay, but is that now going to be your life for the rest of your life? Like, that's how you're always going to be intimate with your partner? Like, you're not interested in being explorative and trying other ways to excite each other in the bedroom, or to just try other things other than penetration? What's from your observation as a sex educator, Lisa, in the coaching you've done, do you think couples are becoming more and more explorative, or just like it's just one way of doing things for the rest of their lives and they're okay with that?
I think humans, we're creatures of habit. I mean, even with regards to self-pleasure, The majority of people have learned one way when they were young and they do it the same for the rest of their lives. The same with sex. A lot of us, especially in long-term relationships, we find a structure. It could include massage. I mean, a lot of people don't even include massage. You know, maybe it includes a bit of touch, a bit of kissing, and then it's straight to penetration. And then usually he orgasms and it's all over. That is what a lot of people are doing over and over again. And it's okay. That's okay. We celebrate pleasure in any way it comes. I'm not saying it's wrong. But there is just so much more available. There's so much pleasure potential in our bodies. It's not all genital based, right? There's so many ways we can experience pleasure together and alone. And it's just a shame that a lot of people are not curious about trying that. And I think it has a lot to do with taboo. It feels wrong to be investing any time or resources into learning about how we can increase our pleasure. It feels frivolous when there are more serious things happening in the world. And there are serious things happening in the world, of course, but pleasure can actually help to fuel us, to ground us, to settle our nervous system, to create a bond with our partner. And so luckily, we have things like 50 Shades of Grey, which, while it had its own issues, opens other conversations. And so there are lots of people in the world that are trying different things. That doesn't just have to be kink and BDSM. What one couple thinks is novel and exciting, another couple might think is no big deal. So it's just like following your own curiosity. That's what I advise people. Like when they are thinking about sex or when they allow themselves to daydream or when they even look at erotic material, what are they drawn to? What are the curiosities? If they were to look at a toy shop for adults, for example, what would it be that they're looking at? Like allow themselves to get curious and think about like, I wonder how that would feel. And just invite that into your life. As adults, life is heavy and it can be difficult and there can be so many serious things to think about. So this is one outlet where we can play, where we can learn about ourselves, and that can actually bring us richness to our overall lives in the long term.
Yeah. 13 minutes before 12 o'clock. More of your WhatsApps after the break.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
I believe that there was a conversation in Lesotho. Some people are saying that they want a certain piece of South Africa. The Boere are saying that they want a Volksstaat. The king of Abatembu says 26% of the South African hinterland is owned by the Abatembu. And that is because people look at South Africa and they think South Africa is just a place where you can just rip it apart and get whatever you want. Y'all better understand this is our home. And we might ultimately lose the battle, but you know what? You're going to get a fight. I can tell you that right now, you are going to get a fight. We might not have the finances. Damn it, you're going to get a fight.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Celebrate the power of African storytelling. Join Freedom Park in collaboration with the South African State Theatre for the 13th Ungasali Storytelling Festival on the 14th of March 2026 at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria. Experience powerful performances through poetry, theatre, music, and traditional storytelling as we celebrate the voices and stories that shape our heritage. Tickets are available at Web Tickets for 150 Rand. The Ungasali Storytelling Festival, where African stories come alive. Don't miss it.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
What's up? Why is there a horse in your driveway?
You ride savvy. Why drive a Mustang when you can ride one?
What the missus say?
Well, she had a bit of a long face, but now she's stable.
If you need a backup plan, We Buy Cars can sort you out.
Nah, savvy. This thing is eco-chic.
stop horsing around, cowboy. Rather get one of these from We Buy Cars.
What's the horsepower on that thing?
More than one, Dorf. More than one.
Don't be Dorf, be savvy. We Buy Cars. Geared for adventure, geared for you.
Relationship issues
Relationship talk.
on 702.
It's 10 minutes now before 12 o'clock. We're wrapping up our conversation with Lisa Welsh, who's a sex educator. And today we've been discussing this hour scheduled sex in long-term relationships. Because the longer the relationship is, it really doesn't get as exciting as it was in the beginning, in as far as just intimacy and sex is concerned, because there are other dynamics at play, right? Whether it's work stress or pressures, or maybe it's that work pressure, or it's the kids that are around the house. Maybe it's the medication that you take that often suppress your libido, just the other daily responsibilities as well. So how do you then navigate that, right? If you have gone a long time without sex with your partner, how do you navigate that? Have you ever tried to propose scheduling sex and ensuring that there's maintenance sex or intimacy that happens even in those moments? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. Speaking of kids, Anonymous on the WhatsApp line says, "Hi Clement, I don't mind scheduling sex, but we have 2 kids. One is 14 and the other is 5. The issue is that as soon as my husband puts his head on the pillow, believe me, he is just gone and I can't get to wake him up. So it's a challenge. We're trying to get the kids to bed early, but it's a mission. I'm fortunately or unfortunately want sex more than him and love exploring a lot. He doesn't restrict me, but he's a bit routine based and sometimes that defeats me." Great show. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for sharing the story with us. I don't know, Lisa, because this happens a lot where especially it gets complicated when it's the wives or it's the girlfriend, and I'm talking now in a heterosexual relationship, who are the ones that are proposing these exploring new things, because then sometimes the men will feel like, oh, why are you proposing that? Does it mean you're not happy with how I've been doing things? Does it mean I'm not satisfying you? Or where did you even learn that? I mean, you'd be surprised the kind of reaction that women get from their partners often when they want to propose new things.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that quite a lot. But what I want to talk about in regards to this caller is the timing. Because they were talking about the fact that when their partner gets to bed, his head hits the pillow and he's asleep. That is quite common. And the funny thing is, why do we default to wanting to have sex at bedtime? We're tired. I mean, we're often asleep on the couch before we even get to bed. So in this situation, can you choose a different time of day, right? You've got children at different ages, so that's tricky. Teenagers, if you've got teenagers, I often say early morning is good at the weekend because teenagers are hibernating. But if you've got young children, then later in the evening is better. So, but can you find a time when both children are safe and you can find privacy? Often it's around just before dinner, like when you're going to be cooking dinner. Maybe both children are occupied somehow. And, you need to find the pockets of time in your life that work, right? It can feel risky and naughty, but, you build a rule in your house that the door is closed, right? You've got to do what works for your family. But the key message here is bedtime is often a bad time for people who are tired, which is most adults. A lot of adults are tired. And you're right with what you said about feeling nervous when somebody suggests something new. And a lot of that can come down to framing, just making sure that you are telling your partner what you appreciate about your love life, what you enjoy about your love life, and then bringing up the curiosity as something you would like to explore together. Saying, I heard about this on Clement's show. I heard about this thing. It sounds really interesting. What do you think? So thinking about the way that you're communicating it.
Hi, Clement. Ronnie here. I think scheduling sex is old school. It's like our grandfather's time. Yeah, you would schedule sex with sunset, morning. Right now it should be spontaneous. Like when you're driving to the mall with the one you like, you can just start it and finish it in the mall. It's new year, new time. Thank you.
That is exciting, I guess, Lisa. I mean, in the mall, as long as it's not in public.
I mean, it's exciting. And you can do it. You know, you're allowed to do that still.
Another message here says, "Hi Clement, Anonymous here. For me, scheduled sex is a complete turn-off. I'm the anytime is tea time type of a woman. And at night, we sleep commando without fail, hey? And there's also sex initiation from my side as well. So it's never one-sided. Oh, you're very lucky." And then another one says, "Clement, people like spontaneous sex because it's a norm, but that mostly happens in movies. In real life, people are tired. Kids take up time and life gets busy. Add menopause for women and declining testosterone for men, and it's no surprise that things change over time. That's why couples need to communicate openly and make time for each other if they want to keep the connection strong." Oh, Dao, you've said it so well. Here's another WhatsApp message.
Hi, Clement. Shame, I understand that previous caller with kids running around the house. What we would do is we would go to the laundry room with my husband. We would do it there in the laundry room.
Oh, shame, man.
Genius.
Oh, these little ones, just send them to Granny. Send them to Granny for the weekend or for one night and have the night to yourselves.
But at least in the laundry room, there's a machine going, right? It covers up the noise a little as well.
It does, yeah. Give them headphones, give them their favorite movies, lock their room. You'll come get them after 2 hours. Lisa, thank you so much for coming through. Always great to have you teach us and really educate us about these important conversations and how we can improve connections with our partners. I really appreciate your time. Lisa Walsh is a sex educator. It's 3 minutes before 12.
Why settle for being Mr. Humble when you can be called Grootman? Don't settle. Get the GWM P500 from only $8,499 per month with a commanding presence built to dominate any terrain. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You wouldn't settle for burnt toast just because it's still bread. So why settle for less when it comes to car insurance? Outsurance client 30-year-old Dinewo knows all about getting more out.
I'm saving 1,094 rands.
That's an unbelievable 1,094 rand saving every month on her 2025 Kia Sonet. Get a quote today and see how much Outsurance could save you. SMS cover to 30995. That's cover to 30995. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
For over 30 years, Bid Air Cargo has been keeping South Africa's supply chain moving, giving our economy the dedicated cargo capacity it needs. Whether it's really, really urgent, oversized, or hazardous, when a shipment has to fly, we make it happen. Linking all major airports with reliable freighter services, our promise delivers. Bid Air Cargo. Every kilo counts.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Clement.
What's popping?
Darylene James from Action SA will talk to us today about the bill that is the bill that they have proposed on zero tolerance for corruption sentences in light of, I heard you talking about the Steinhoff plea deal as well. The former NPA head, Vusi Pikoli, is back on the stand at the TRC inquiry today. Richard Shabiri, is tying himself in knots at the moment at the Madlanka inquiry.
You know who I feel sorry for? His kids, his family. Because he's been such an embarrassment. I can only imagine if that was my dad who's trying to justify things and is giving the most of the unintelligent responses and justifications. I really feel sorry for the kids.
There's really nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide. And he thinks he can hide.
And then a service in honor of Mosiwa Lokota in Bloemfontein today. And it's Friday.
Sports.
And good things
Is there
too.
interesting sports this weekend?
I just watched sprint qualifying in the F1. It was so boring. The whole season is going to be so boring.
Oh, come on,
because of the new battery, what.
yeah.
And then there's there's lots of other things happening.
All right. So that's what's coming up on the Midday Report with Manyathela. Thank you for listening to the show. We'll be back with you on Monday between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful weekend, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Energy regulator NERSA has announced new deadlines for municipalities to submit their electricity tariff applications for the 2026-2027 financial year. The regulator says the tariff applications must be submitted by the end of March, following a recent High Court ruling that adjusted the timelines. This comes after NERSA approved Eskom's retail tariff and structural adjustment application